Chapter 1261. Why is he surprised? No one except the Imperial Network knows how many human cultivators are in the battlefield. But the number will not be small. Just look at the people coming in and out every day to know. The place where battlefield tokens are issued and military merits are settled is always in a long queue. The only arena, with 100,000 seats in the stands, is now completely full. If it were in the human race's star field, everyone could enter the Imperial Network and watch the game in the virtual world, which could accommodate as many people as possible. But at this moment, it is in the battlefield, which is disconnected from the human race's star field. Not only is it disconnected geographically, but even the Imperial Network is different. The Imperial Network covers here, its power is not as abundant as in the human race's star field, and it cannot accommodate so many people entering the Imperial Network at the same time. Therefore, the Imperial Network will project the pictures of the two challengers so that people can watch them in reality. This puts less pressure on the Imperial Network. Outside the arena, some people arrived late and there were no seats. But it doesn't matter, if there are no seats, then stand and watch, everyone can fly, and standing in the air is not a problem. A huge formation rose in the arena. As long as you bought a ticket, you could enter. In this way, the stands were full of people, and the sky was also full of people. At least 150,000 people watched this challenge. The duel between the strong on the battle strength list is extremely attractive. On the huge arena, projections showed the two challengers facing each other, standing at opposite ends of the arena, waiting for the challenge to begin. Above their heads were their respective names and their rankings on the battle power list. Challenger: Bai Tianzong, ranked 25th on the battle power list. Respondent: Lin Mo Yu, ranked 10th on the battle power list. In the center of the arena, a huge countdown timer ticked down, with 2 minutes remaining until the challenge began. The arena was bustling with activity as people discussed the upcoming battle. Most people were unfamiliar with Lin Mo Yu, the newcomer, and knew little about his true abilities, including his laws and techniques. However, many people knew Bai Tianzong, who was ranked 25th on the battle power list. He was a veteran God King realm expert who had been on the battle power list for over a century and had a considerable reputation. Bai Tianzong specializes in the Law of Starlight. Although the Law of Starlight is common, few people can use it effectively. The Law of Starlight can draw on the power of starlight in the great world. Its weakness is that its attack and defense are mediocre, but its advantage is that it consumes very little energy, making it suitable for long battles. I have seen Bai Tianzong fight before. His control over the Law of Starlight has reached a subtle level. That was 50 years ago, so he is probably even stronger now. The longer this battle drags on, the more advantageous it will be for Bai Tianzong. I wonder how Lin Mo Yu will handle it and how he will achieve a quick victory. At that moment, many people became analysts and predictors, guessing and analyzing the combat strategies of both sides. Unfortunately, they knew too little about Lin Mo Yu, and most of their judgments were based on speculation. Suddenly, someone said strangely, Bai Tianzong's expression seems a bit odd. The Human Emperor Network projected all the scenes in the Human Emperor Arena in great detail. This included all the expressions of the characters, which everyone present could see. However, only the visuals were projected, not the sound. At this moment, Bai Tianzong's eyes were wide and bulging, as if they were about to pop out. His mouth was open, as if he wanted to say something, but he couldn't get anything out. Han Yu and others standing below the stage also noticed Bai Tianzong's expression at this moment. What exactly did this guy see? He must have seen something incredible. We can ask him when the battle is over. Boss Han Yu, do you think Tianzong can win this battle? Han Yu pondered for a few seconds. Even if he can't win, with Tianzong's abilities, he can at least let us see Lin Mo Yu's true strength. Then he added, at least most of his strength. Because of Bai Tianzong's expression, he had lost his confidence in this challenge. It wasn't that he didn't trust Bai Tianzong, but Bai Tianzong's expression was too exaggerated. It was so exaggerated that even he couldn't make an accurate judgment. He knew that Bai Tianzong must have seen something special to make him show such an expression. Han Yu fell into deep thought. Like Lin Mo Yu, he was a thoughtful person. There is very little information available now before the challenge officially starts. Tianzong must have seen Lin Mo Yu's cultivation realm. Is Lin Mo Yu's realm too high? No, if it was just a high realm, it wouldn't make Tianzong react like that. And how high could his realm be? At most, it would be the 6th level of the God King realm. So, it's because Lin Mo Yu's realm is too low. The lower the realm, the stronger the combat power, which means Lin Mo Yu has the ability to fight beyond his level, and not just 1 or 2 levels but maybe 3 or 4 levels. Lin Mo Yu's true realm should be around the 1st level of the God King realm. Only in this way would Tianzong lose his composure. That's right, it must be like this. Han Yu quickly grasped the key to the problem. It wasn't that Lin Mo Yu's realm was too high, but that it was too low. Lin Mo Yu was a super genius with amazing combat power. In the human emperor arena, Bai Tianzong's expression remained unchanged for a long time. He saw Lin Mo Yu's true realm, the 7th level of true God. 7th level of true God, this guy is only at the 7th level of true God. How is this possible? This is impossible. Entering the top 10 of the battle power list at the 7th level of true God means having at least the combat power of the 5th level of the God King realm. This is not just fighting beyond one's level, but fighting across realms. It's like someone doing a running triple jump and being able to jump 20 meters. You do a standing long jump and jump 30 meters. It's impossible to believe that this is true. It's simply a miracle. Bai Tianzong saw such a miracle. The human emperor network doesn't lie. No one can hide their realm. Lin Mo Yu was really at the 7th level of true God, and he really had such strong combat power. Bai Tianzong felt unreal. He felt like he was dreaming. It wasn't until 30 seconds before the start of the battle that his dream finally woke up. He knew what he had to do, and he changed his tactics. He no longer hoped to defeat Lin Mo Yu. He just wanted to use his abilities to force out Lin Mo Yu's true combat power as much as possible. At the same time, he still had a trace of unwillingness in his heart. They were both geniuses, so why was the gap so big? He thought about his tactics, using the advantage of the law of Starlight's minimal consumption to delay the time as much as possible. With his 3rd level God King realm and 4th level God King combat power, he would delay as long as he could. His eyes gradually became firm, and his fighting spirit was boiling. The law of Starlight gradually condensed, and even the entire arena became brighter. Lin Mo Yu saw the changes in his expression and roughly guessed what he was thinking. Lin Mo Yu didn't care about this. Delay, is it something you can delay if you want to? How long you can delay depends on how long I want to play with you. But Lin Mo Yu didn't want to play now. 10 million points. Lin Mo Yu murmured in his heart. The 30 seconds ended, and the battle began. The restrictions between the two disappeared, but Bai Tianzong didn't rush over immediately. The law domain unfolded, and starlight scattered across the sky, condensing into a shield. The shield enveloped Bai Tianzong, protecting him firmly without any blind spots. Chapter 1262, Gambling Big, but Losing. The law domain condensed into a shield, and the heavy shield gave Bai Tianzong a sense of security. Through the colorful starlight, he saw a huge throne appear above Lin Mo Yu's head. It was a skull throne burning with gray-white flames. A huge skeleton slowly rose from the throne and then swung a sword at him. A bright sword light lit up in his vision, and then the scene changed, and he was back in the dark stone house. The door of the stone house opened, indicating that he could leave. The battle is over. Bai Tianzong was still in a daze, not knowing what had happened, and left the small house in confusion. Outside the small house, he saw Lin Mo Yu walking out at the same time, and he also saw his companions in the distance with shocked faces. He asked blankly, "What happened?" Lin Mo Yu smiled and didn't answer. At this time, both of them received a reminder from the Human Emperor Network. The battle is over. Lin Mo Yu wins this battle. Lin Mo Yu gains 10 million points, and Bai Tianzong loses 10 million points. When the contract was established, Lin Mo Yu had more than 100 million points. The Human Emperor Network ignored the odd numbers and calculated based on 100 million. Moreover, each subsequent win would be calculated at 100 million points, without accumulation. Bai Tianzong's face turned pale, and he pointed at Lin Mo and stammered, "How do you have so many points?" Lin Mo smiled slightly, "Is it a lot? I don't think so." It really wasn't much for him. He had just used 100 million points as a deposit, otherwise he should be winning 20 million right now. If he had known someone would come to challenge him, he wouldn't have paid the deposit. Bai Tianzong's face was bloodless, his heart aching. 10 million points were the result of his accumulation over hundreds of years, and now it was all gone at once. He was in so much pain that he couldn't speak, feeling extremely frustrated. Lin Mo comforted him. Victory and defeat are common occurrences in war. You should think of it this way: if you had won, you could have earned 50 million points, and my ranking on the battle power list. Betting small to win big, you're not at a loss, at least you experienced the feeling of being instantly killed. Bai Tianzong's lungs were about to explode with anger. Experience your sister. What kind of ghost would want to experience this kind of instant kill? He didn't see anything before it ended. Well, he couldn't say he didn't see anything. He saw a huge skeleton, swinging a sword at him. This skeleton was very large, seemingly 1,000 meters tall, very majestic. Lin Mo said, "Senior brother Bai, I won't go over, please ask the next senior brother to come over. I one half. No matter what, Lin Mo was only a true god 7th rank, and still addressed them as senior brothers. Although Bai Tianzong lost everything, he still maintained considerable reason, and said in a deep voice, "You wait." After he went back, everyone immediately surrounded him and asked, "What happened just now? How were you instantly killed? Was that skeleton very powerful? We only saw the skeleton slash a sword at you, and you were done for. How did it feel?" Bai Tianzong was rendered speechless by a series of questions. How did it feel? How could he have any feeling? Should he say, it was the feeling of being instantly killed, painless and quick death? Seeing Bai Tianzong not speaking, Huota's hot temper rose, and he said in a muffled voice, "Speak up." At this time, Han Yu waved to stop everyone. He patted Bai Tianzong's shoulder. "2 questions, what is Lin Mo's realm? How many points did you lose?" Han Yu was the leader of the group. Although Huota's battle power ranking was slightly higher than Han Yu, everyone was more convinced by Han Yu's words. As soon as Han Yu spoke, they quieted down. A chill swept through Bai Tianzong's body. Bai Tianzong shuddered, and said in a low voice, "True God 7th rank, I lost 10 million. Several people's faces showed shocked expressions, unable to believe it. Only True God 7th rank, how is this possible? True God 7th rank, instantly killed you? You must be joking. I would believe you if you said he was a God King 7th rank, True God 7th rank, absolutely impossible. You lost 10 million, that guy has 100 million points, where did he get so many points? True God 7th rank, 100 million points, both were a bit unbelievable. If combined together, it was even more so. Han Yu understood in his heart why Bai Tianzong had such an expression just now. The situation was far more surprising than he thought. Lin Mo was not a God King 1st rank, but a true God 7th rank. He was not a genius who fought beyond his level, but a super genius who could fight across realms. His mind turned very fast, and he immediately thought of some things. I'm going to say 2 things now, you all listen carefully. First, let's pool our points together to ensure that everyone has 10 million points. Second, information about Lin Mo's realm and other information is not allowed to be revealed to anyone outside, just keep it to yourselves, don't say it. Han Yu spoke very seriously, not joking. His words were very useful, and everyone present would listen. Huota didn't understand, why can't we say it? Han Yu explained, a genius like Lin Mo is being watched and protected by the human race's higher-ups, revealing his information. In case it is obtained by the enemy race, they will not hesitate to assassinate Lin Mo at all costs. If this kind of thing is revealed from our mouths, you can imagine the consequences yourselves. With the Human Emperor Network, no one can escape. Over the years, many of the human race's top geniuses have been assassinated, and every time many people have been implicated. So control your mouths, don't say it, especially Huota, you must pay attention. Everyone realized the seriousness of the matter, and knew that Han Yu was not alarmist. They were all old guys who had lived for hundreds of years, how could they not understand the truth? After a while, the second person among them came out, preparing for the second challenge. The person who came out for the second match was called Han Wu, and like Bai Tianzong, he was a God King 3rd rank. Ranked 21st on the battle power list, slightly higher than Bai Tianzong. Han Wu had a bitter face, he knew that he was sending points, and might even be instantly killed. The contract had already been established, and it was impossible to go back on it. Now they could only go one by one, sending points to Lin Mo. The sword of the Skeleton King just now, instantly killing Bai Tianzong, also shattered their illusions. Being able to instantly kill Bai Tianzong, the power of that sword at least reached the God King 5th rank. Lin Mo did not rely on magic weapons to reach the God King 5th rank battle power, but he really had that battle power. On the spectator stand of the arena, from the moment Bai Tianzong was instantly killed, the exclamations never stopped. The sword of the Skeleton King amazed everyone. When everyone thought that it would take at least dozens or hundreds of rounds to fight, Lin Mo ended the battle with a good instant kill. Everyone who analyzed the battle process before was slapped in the face. Who would have thought that it would be an instant kill ending? I won half, I won quarter, good boy, really amazing. Bai Tianzong was defeated like this. The skeleton summoned by Lin Mo, at least has the battle power of a God King 5th rank, right? At least, Bai Tianzong didn't even react, that sword locked onto the soul, exploded instantly, ignoring spatial distance, too strong. An unavoidable sword. This time Han Wu is a little stronger than Bai Tianzong, but it is also limited. It is estimated that the result is the same. The battle power list really doesn't lie. Lin Mo is really amazing. Zhang Zidi was also on the spectator stand. He frowned, his heart beating at least half faster than usual. He knew Bai Tianzong, although not familiar, but he had also dealt with him. This person was not weak, but he was instantly killed in front of Lin Mo. If it were himself, Zhang Ziyu smiled bitterly. He was really stubborn. He actually went to challenge this kind of pervert. Chapter 1263 Secrets of the Ancient Era. Lin Mo felt strands of the power of faith, crossing through inexplicable nothingness, following ancient and mysterious rules, descending upon himself. This wave of the power of faith was more than he had received before. Being the first on the potential list had not yielded so much power of faith, but his sword had done it. As the saying goes, seeing is believing. Lin Mo believed that the news of his instant kill of Bai Tianzong must have spread, and it was estimated that someone would rush back. It was just hard to say whether they could catch up. The fact was indeed so. The news spread at an alarming rate, faster than the speed of light. Many more people poured into the arena, wanting to watch the battle. It was not necessary to watch hundreds of rounds of life and death battles. Sometimes an amazing sword was more attractive. Han Wu was mentally prepared, and after seeing Lin Mo's true realm, he did not have as exaggerated an expression as Bai Tianzong. But he still couldn't help but be shocked. Lin Mo was really a true god 7th rank. Could he compare to this kind of genius? Although they were all geniuses, the gap between geniuses was unimaginably large. This guy must be from God City. No, I've seen people from God City before, they're not this abnormal. When I get into God City, I have to ask, how many freaks are there in God City? Amid Han Wu's chaotic thoughts, the battle began. He instinctively unfolded his law domain, his entire body surging with earthy yellow light. In the earthy yellow light, there was a hint of sharpness, with faint flashes of golden light. The light gradually turned golden. He was skilled in the law of earth element and the law of gold element. Both laws were in the 3rd tier, not powerful. He should have chosen one of the laws to comprehend, becoming an ordinary cultivator. But he refused to give up, forcibly merging the two laws together. The laws underwent a qualitative change, becoming the law of metal and stone. It had both the sharpness of the gold law and the defense of the stone law. The law of metal and stone was a 2nd-tier law, and a relatively powerful one within the 2nd tier, being an integrated offense and defense law. Han Wu also used this to enter the combat power rankings, becoming a genius. The law domain contracted, forming a golden armor on his body. At the same time, a giant sword resembling gold appeared in his hand. Han Wu looked like an ancient god of war reborn, clad in armor, with an extraordinary aura. Then, above Lin Moyu's head, a flaming skull throne appeared, exactly the same as before. The Skull King rose from the throne and swung a sword at him. Han Wu's expression changed drastically, and he immediately raised his sword to block. This was his instinct, but he didn't know that the sword of God slaying could not be blocked. He could only rely on his defense to withstand it. He watched as his golden armor shattered in the sword light. His body shattered at the same time. His consciousness shifted, and when he opened his eyes again, he was back in the cabin. There was no surprise, just instant kill. The 1,000-meter Skull King instantly killed him with a single sword, the same ending as Bai Tianzong. The audience erupted again, another instant kill, a complete and utter instant kill. What is this skull? It's too strong. Is Lin Moyu just going to use this one move from beginning to end? Isn't one move enough? One trick can take you anywhere. No matter how many spells you have, it's useless if they're not strong enough. ... The battle in the arena continued. In a distant place, a shadow appeared in front of Area 7 to 77. The shadow's appearance was unclear. Its existence was like a black hole, absorbing all light. It stood there, and no one could detect its presence. If Lin Moyu were present, he would know that this black-clothed man, like a black hole, was the big shot he had seen in the black hole. Zhu Qiwu appeared beside the man in black and whispered, "Are you really going?" The black-clothed man's voice was equally low, "Aren't you curious?" Zhu Qiwu honestly replied, "Curious." The black-clothed man's low voice, without any emotion, said, "Curiosity is normal. Who wouldn't be curious about the secrets of the ancient times? Since you want to go, let's go and see." As he spoke, he waved his hand, and the space suddenly changed. The next second, they had entered Area 7-77 and arrived in front of the central black hole. The level restrictions of Area 7-77 were meaningless to the man in black. Zhu Qiwu was shrouded in an invisible force. This force came from the man in black, who brought him into this area that he shouldn't have been able to enter. The darkness of the black hole was equally meaningless to the man in black. The man in black went straight to the pit of the black hole and stared at it. Chaotic lights flowed in the pit, forming an indescribable and magnificent scene. Zhu Qiwu felt that there seemed to be a surge of fighting spirit in the man in black. He quickly asked, "Are you going to attack?" The man in black slowly shook his head, "I can't attack, but I think I can talk to him." As soon as he finished speaking, an impatient voice suddenly came from under the pit, "Get lost." Then the pit streamer stopped, and the next second, countless streamers rolled out, erupting like a volcano, spraying outwards. A huge force erupted along with the streamers. Every strand of streamer was like a sharp sword, extremely sharp and extremely terrifying. The man in black waved his hand casually, isolating the streamers, "You guys are really hard to talk to. Get lost." Another roar, the streamer erupted even more intensely, the pit gradually closed, and finally disappeared. The man in black sighed, "None of these guys are normal." Zhu Qiwu didn't speak. This kind of existence was not something he could comment on. The man in black continued, "Let's go, hopefully, we can find a more normal one next time, at least someone we can communicate with. If there's a chance, let that little guy keep looking. There are quite a few old guys hiding in the battlefield, there's bound to be someone we can talk to." Zhu Qiwu could understand the man in black's meaning. The little guy in the man in black's mouth was naturally Lin Moyu. The man in black was inconvenient to move in the battlefield, he couldn't do whatever he wanted. There were some things he couldn't do, and he couldn't do either, so others had to do them. Zhu Qiwu said, "This time, that stinky brat almost died." Fortunately, he was smart enough to buy himself time to use the teleportation jade before escaping. But you also know that in many places, the teleportation jade doesn't work. The man in black hummed, the colorful streamers of the black hole condensed in his hand, and finally turned into a gorgeous hexagonal gem. The gem had thousands of colors, dazzling and beautiful. In the very center of the gem, there was a vortex of black gas spinning, like a black hole. "Give this to him, if he's in danger, let him crush it, and I'll guarantee his safety." Zhu Qiwu took the gem and respectfully replied, "Okay." The man in black waved his hand, and the two had already left Area 7-77. The man in black had long since disappeared, leaving only Zhu Qiwu alone in the starry sky. Zhu Qiwu held the gem, a look of contemplation in his eyes. "It seems that you've already taken a fancy to that stinky brat." The challenge continued, and the audience had gone from the initial amazement to being accustomed to it. In every battle, Lin Moyu used the same move over and over again, summoning a skeleton and slaying it with a single sword. It had been like this for 6 consecutive matches. Now it was the 7th match, and the Fire Virtue God King, with his fiery temper, stepped onto the arena. Chapter 1264 The Second Skull King. Among Han Yu's group, Fire Virtue ranked highest on the combat power list, previously 10th, now squeezed to 11th by Lin Moyu. But everyone, including Fire Virtue, knew that if they really fought, Han Yu would be the most powerful. The Fire Virtue God King was a 4th-order existence, with the combat power of a peak 5th-order God King, infinitely close to a 6th-order God King. He could even briefly unleash the combat power of a 6th-order God King when he went all out. It's just that he was too easily agitated and not very bright, which affected his combat power. Han Yu was also at the 4th rank of God King, but because he was smarter, his actual combat ability surpassed Huode. Huode and Hengxin were the top of the pyramid among the 8, and their combat power was significantly higher than the others. Bai Tianzong asked, "Boss, can second brother beat Lin Mo Yu?" Previously, all of them were instantly killed by a single sword, which almost caused psychological trauma. He instinctively felt that Huode could not beat Lin Mo Yu, but he still had a glimmer of hope. Han Yu shook his head. He can't win, but at least he won't be instantly killed, and maybe he can see some clues. If Lin Mo Yu only has this one trick, Huode might be able to entangle with him for a while. A gleam of light flashed in Han Yu's eyes. Lin Mo Yu hadn't shown anything before, just this one trick back and forth. He hoped to collect more information so that he would have a chance to compete with Lin Mo Yu. Although the chances of winning were not great, as a genius, Han Yu also had his own arrogance and would not easily admit defeat. Huode has a violent temper, but his combat power is beyond doubt. His violent temper is because his soul was contaminated by the fire-type laws when he was practicing spells. This problem is not unsolvable, as long as Huode reaches the God Emperor. When the soul enters the Law Galaxy and is washed and purified by the Law Galaxy, it will naturally recover. Everything has two sides. While the soul is affected, Huode's combat power is also improved. Huode even cultivated into a Hautian fire spirit body. The strength of his physical body has greatly increased, and he is extremely close to the fire-type laws. Han Yu felt that Huode might really be able to force out more of Lin Mo Yu's strength. Inside the arena, the battle began. A flame enveloped the arena, and Huode also unfolded his Law Domain. Unfolding the Law Domain is almost the starting move of all God Kings, without exception. Flames enveloped Huode's body, forming armor. Huode's body rapidly grew larger in the flames, becoming more burly, and in the blink of an eye, he turned into a strong man 3 meters tall, like the god of fire descending. A pair of flame gauntlets appeared in his hands. His fists collided, erupting with even more astonishing aura. The firelight soared into the sky, the flames layered upon each other, the flame armor became even stronger, and the flames almost condensed into solid form. The rationality in Huode's eyes gradually disappeared, enveloped by a strong fighting spirit. Only Lin Mo Yu remained in his eyes. In this state, he could unleash astonishing power, briefly reaching the combat power of a 6th-ranked God King. He went all out from the beginning. This was also what Han Yu told him to do, not to care about anything at the beginning and go all out. There was no need to hide anything when dealing with an opponent like Lin Mo Yu, whose depth was unknown. Huode did as he was told, roaring and instantly rushing towards Lin Mo Yu. He only had Lin Mo Yu in his eyes, even ignoring the Skeleton King that had already appeared above his head. The 1,000-meter Skeleton King swung a sword at Huode. The sword light exploded, the flame armor shattered, and the fire swept across the arena. But this time, after the sword light shattered the armor, it failed to instantly kill Huode. The next second, the flames surged back, and the armor returned to its original state. Since the beginning of the challenge, this was the first time that the Skeleton King had failed to instantly kill an opponent. Interesting. Lin Mo Yu smiled slightly, quickly retreating and flying diagonally into the air. Huode appeared where Lin Mo Yu had been, his fist slamming into the ground with flames. Like a volcanic eruption, the flames soared into the sky. Huode rushed into the flames, and the flames transformed into wings behind him, giving Huode amazing speed, and he pounced on Lin Mo Yu again. The Skeleton King pounced, blocking in front of Lin Mo Yu, but was knocked away by Huode. The size of Huode and the Skeleton King were not proportional, but the Skeleton King was knocked away by Huode, creating a strong sense of contrast. Below the arena, Han Yu smiled when he saw this scene. "You finally moved." The skeleton couldn't kill Huode in one hit, and was knocked away. "Let's see what other tricks you have." Lin Mo Yu hadn't moved a step since the start of the battle. Now he finally moved, and the Skeleton King couldn't stop Huode either. Obviously, if Lin Mo Yu didn't have other tricks, he would be chased by Huode to the end. Once Huode starts fighting, he won't stop until his opponent is defeated. After all, Lin Mo Yu was only at the 7th rank of True God. Even if he had powerful spells, if he wasn't strong enough himself, he would definitely have a headache facing Huode's pursuit. After a brief exchange, Lin Mo Yu had already seen Huode's strength, and his expression was still calm, not flustered at all. The one he summoned was only a 1,000-meter Skeleton King, and it only gathered the power of 1,000,000 skeletons. The combat power that a 1,000-meter Skeleton King can exert is only at the 5th rank of God King. Compared to Huode in a rage state, it was indeed a bit worse. Since that's the case, then add a little more power. Lin Moyu gently tapped his finger, and another Skeleton King throne burning with undead flames appeared above his head. The Skeleton King throne that appeared this time was obviously a circle larger than before, and the Skeleton King on it was also much larger. The new Skeleton King slowly stood up, reaching a height of 3,000 meters. This time, it was a Skeleton King formed by the power of 3 million skeletons, and its power reached the 6th rank of God King. Han Yu's pupils suddenly shrank, a second Skeleton King, a bigger and stronger Skeleton King. He realized that the Skeleton King could summon more than one, and that the previous Skeleton King was not the strongest Skeleton King. Now Lin Mo used a little more power, enhancing the power of the spell. He didn't use his full strength before. Han Yu was shocked, and then a little discouraged. Lin Mo Yu still didn't show his trump card. The newly appeared Skeleton King locked onto Huode and swung the god-slaying sword. The sword light lit up, the flame armor on Huode's body completely shattered, and the sword light did not disappear, continuing to fall on Huode's body. Huode's physical body was extremely strong, letting out a scream in the sword light, but he did not die. Huge wounds appeared on his body, covered in blood. Lin Mo Yu, in the Human Emperor Network, everything is simulated realistically. Huode could feel the pain, but the pain only added to his combat power. He became even more furious, even more insane, ignoring the visible bone wounds, ignoring the fountain-like blood, and relying on his powerful physique, he once again charged towards Lin Mo Yu. Huode transformed into a flame, like a hot burning star crashing over. Just as he was approaching Lin Mo Yu, he was suddenly enveloped by a huge shadow. The 3,000-meter Skeleton King blocked his path. His size was only as big as the Skeleton King's fingertip. This time he failed to knock the Skeleton King away. The Skeleton King, with its immense power, slapped him away like swatting a fly. Huode flew backwards uncontrollably, and the flames enveloping him were also scattered. In terms of power, the Skeleton King completely defeated him. At this time, another 1,000-meter Skeleton King arrived and swung a sword. It was still the god-slaying sword, without any extra tricks. The bright sword light rose on his body, and Huode exploded into flames, scattering on the arena again. Chapter 1265, Actually, my strongest point is defense. Huode was defeated, but compared to the previous few people, Huode was much better. At least he wasn't instantly killed, and he did force Lin Mo Yu to temporarily avoid his attack. At that moment, Huode proved his strength, but also corroborated the accuracy of the Human Emperor Network. Lin Mo Yu summoned an even more powerful skeleton, cleanly and decisively eliminating Huode Divine King. Huode emerged from the cabin, his eyes not showing any disappointment. It seemed he didn't care about victory or defeat, or perhaps he had expected to lose. He surprisingly nodded towards Lin Mo Yu, acknowledging his strength, and had no further objections to Lin Mo Yu replacing him in the top 10 of the battle power ranking. Huode returned to Han Yu's side and whispered, "I lost. That guy is excessively strong, and he hasn't even used his full power." Huode was just short-tempered, but not an idiot. Moreover, as someone who had fought against Lin Mo Yu, he had the most authority to speak. Han Yu nodded, "I could see that. Losing was inevitable, just didn't want to lose too badly." Huode grinned, "I haven't had such a great fight in a long time. Feels pretty good." Han Yu chuckled, "It's my turn." With that, he left the group and walked towards Lin Mo Yu. Arriving in front of the cabin, Han Yu didn't enter, but spoke to Lin Mo Yu, "Junior brother Lin, I'd like to see your full power." His tone was calm, neither humble nor arrogant, like a request, but also like a demand. Lin Mo Yu shook his head, "Not here." Lin Mo Yu didn't directly refuse, but said not here. The key words were, "not here," referring to within the Human Emperor Network. It's not possible within the Human Emperor Network. It indicated that Lin Mo Yu's most powerful battle strength was not the Skeleton King, but a battle strength that couldn't be used in the Human Emperor Network. Han Yu guessed it must be some powerful magical treasure. Han Yu couldn't have guessed that Lin Mo Yu's reason was not some magical treasure, but because of his origin skill. The Human Emperor Network couldn't handle a stellar-level origin skill, it simply couldn't simulate it. Before the origin skill advanced to the stellar level, the Human Emperor Network could still simulate it somewhat. But it couldn't now. Lin Mo Yu had already tried it earlier. As soon as he entered the Human Emperor Network's arena, the origin skill was in a shielded state, unable to be sensed. The essence of the origin skill was too strong, it had exceeded the limit of the Human Emperor Network. Han Yu looked at Lin Mo Yu, his eyes not showing disappointment. Actually, it was already good enough that Lin Moyu could tell him this. He pondered for a few seconds, then sighed, with your strength, you should be more than just 10th on the battle power ranking. Lin Moyu smiled, the rankings should be updated soon. This time he had displayed all his strength in Area 7 to 77, and it was displayed under the Human Emperor Network. The Human Emperor Network must have recorded his strongest battle strength, and the battle power ranking would be updated soon. Lin Moyu guessed that the battle power ranking would be updated after the mission rewards were distributed. The two entered the cabin, and the challenge soon began. Although Han Yu knew he would lose, he still wouldn't give up. When the countdown ended, Han Yu was covered in ice, the ice rapidly expanding and almost instantly enveloping the entire arena. Lin Moyu felt a burst of coldness, and white vapor emerged from his body. In the blink of an eye, his body had been frozen into an ice pillar, making it difficult to move. Han Yu didn't use a law domain, nor did he defend, he chose to attack. If he used ordinary tactics, he would undoubtedly lose. To deal with Lin Moyu, he had to find a different approach. He judged that Lin Moyu's spells were very strong, but Lin Moyu's own realm was only at the 6th rank of True God. He could completely kill Lin Moyu before he could cast spells, not giving him a chance to use his spells. Lin Moyu was frozen in ice, unable to move, and a smile appeared on Han Yu's lips. His hands danced like playing a piano, and in an instant, a large number of ice arrows appeared around Lin Moyu. The arrows formed from laws shot towards Lin Moyu from all directions. This attack had reached the level of a 5th-rank Divine King, and even a 4th-rank Divine King would be seriously injured if they took it head-on. Lin Moyu was frozen inside, unable to move. At the moment before the ice arrows arrived, the ice pillar exploded, and Lin Moyu in the ice pillar was immediately exposed beneath the ice arrows. The ice laws on the ice arrows instantly became violent, not giving Lin Moyu any chance to dodge, and crashed down. The arrows exploded, turning into layers of white mist, covering the sky and blocking the view, completely engulfing Lin Moyu. Outsiders couldn't see, but as the master of the ice, Han Yu could sense Lin Moyu's position. At this time, Han Yu's law domain officially unfolded, covering the entire arena, and the arena world turned into a pure white ice world. Countless arrows either fell from the sky, or protruded from the ground, or appeared out of thin air, making one's scalp tingle. Everyone outside the arena cheered for it. Han Yu's set of attacks seized the initiative and left Lin Moyu with no power to fight back. It looked like Han Yu had victory in his grasp. But in the arena, Han Yu frowned tightly. He had already unleashed his strongest attack, and if he were to win, he should have won already. But the battle was still continuing, indicating that Lin Moyu had not been defeated. At this moment, Lin Moyu's voice slowly sounded, I forgot to tell you, relative to attack, my strongest point is defense. Han Yu's eyes showed disbelief when he heard the voice. The attack power of Lin Moyu's spells was already amazing enough, and cultivators often only focus on one aspect. Of course, he believed that Lin Moyu's defense wouldn't be too weak, but it was a bit of an exaggeration to say that his defense was stronger than his attack. People outside the arena couldn't hear Lin Moyu's voice, but seeing the sudden change in Han Yu's expression, they realized that something seemed wrong. In the pure white ice world, Lin Moyu walked out step by step, enduring the violent and fierce ice arrows. It wasn't until his figure appeared in Han Yu's eyes that Han Yu had to believe that what Lin Moyu said was true. The ice arrows hit Lin Moyu's body, but were blocked by an invisible force and shattered. It seemed like he was hit, but it didn't cause any damage to Lin Moyu. All attacks were weakened by 40,000 times, and then shared by all the undead. A 5th-rank Divine King's attack was not much pressure for Lin Moyu. The fighting spirit in Han Yu's eyes gradually disappeared. He had almost done everything he could, but facing an opponent like Lin Moyu, he had no chance of winning. Lin Moyu smiled, I can let you see the strongest battle strength I can exert in the Human Emperor Network. As he spoke, he snapped his fingers, and a raging flame burned. A magnificent, huge, and exquisite skeleton throne appeared out of thin air. The Skeleton King rose from the throne, towering 10,000 meters high. This was the most powerful Skeleton King that Lin Moyu had summoned so far, and also the strongest battle strength he could show without using his origin skill. The Skeleton King, with the battle strength of a 7th-rank Divine King, could unleash an attack close to the level of an 8th-rank Divine King when using the God-slaying sword. Looking at the 10,000-meter high Skeleton King, Han Yu said calmly, thank you. You're welcome. The Skeleton King raised his huge bone sword, and the sword light exploded on Han Yu, completely engulfing him. Han Yu's consciousness returned to the cabin, and he muttered to himself, "This is the feeling of being instantly killed. It's not painful, and it seems okay." He pushed open the cabin, but didn't see Lin Mo Yu. Lin Mo Yu hadn't come out yet, and Han Yu was a little puzzled. What is he doing? At this moment, Lin Mo Yu received a message from the Human Emperor Network. Completed battlefield mission, intercept and harass the demon army. Starting to issue rewards. Completion rate. Chapter 1266. Generous rewards, first on the battle power ranking. Lin Mo Yu stood quietly in the cabin was pitch black, and he couldn't see his fingers. But his eyes shone brightly, extremely bright. The Human Emperor Network's information prompt sounded in his ears, feeling extremely pleasant. Finally, it's here. It's been a while since the mission was completed, and the rewards haven't been given out yet. Actually, this mission was completed under the full monitoring of the Emperor Network, so it shouldn't be this slow. Moreover, because of the monitoring of the Emperor Network, there is no need to go to the mission center for handover. Lin Mo speculated that it was because the temporary connection was established, and the power of the Emperor Network was relatively scarce and weak, so further verification and calculation were required in many links, which led to a delay. Now that the mission rewards are finally here, Lin Mo's attention is also focused on the rewards. Complete the battlefield mission, intercept and harass the demon army. Completion. Perfect. Reward. 50,000 mission points, additional consumption points of 5 million. Complete special mission. Find the military star map and defeat the demon army. Completion. Perfect. Reward. 50,000 mission points, 10,000 military merits, 1 contribution point, 1 military supply point. Although there are no substantial O1 rewards such as magic weapons, these 2 rewards are good enough. Adding the 2 missions together, there are 100,000 mission points alone. It's much better than those mission point rewards of a few thousand or 10,000. It takes 1 million points to upgrade from level 4 per mission to level 5 per mission. Others have to do hundreds of missions to complete it. I completed 1/10 of it with 2 missions, which is ridiculously efficient. However, Lin Mo is also clear that this is because his performance in the mission was very outstanding, unlike others. Those cultivators who also participated in the demon interception mission probably only got a few thousand points, and at most 10,000. As for the 5 million consumption points, Lin Mo doesn't feel much. He just spent 100 million, and he will probably have to spend a lot more money later. 8 challenges earned him 80 million back. Lin Mo said that he earns tens of millions every minute, so 5 million is really nothing. In addition to the points, 10,000 military merits are also very good, directly raising his military rank by 1 level. Lin Mo's total military merits exceeded 40,000, becoming a 4th level sergeant. A 4th level sergeant in the True God realm is very rare. In addition, military merits are not very useful to Lin Mo at present. Military merits can be used to buy a lot of good things, but he doesn't like the bad things, and the good things are still far from enough military merits, and the military rank is not enough, which is a bit embarrassing. Accumulate military merits first, and then buy and use them when there is a chance in the future. 1 contribution point and 1 military supply point are both good things. These 2 are not easy to obtain, and the quantity is extremely small. Contribution points may be very useful in the future, otherwise they would not be ranked separately, and things like contribution lists would not be created. Military supply points should also be used after the realm is higher in the future. The rewards obtained are basically expectations and investments for the future, and are not very useful for the time being. But Lin Mo is clear that even without rewards, as long as Zhu Qiwu spoke at the time, he would not have refused. In that case, these rewards can be regarded as icing on the cake. At this time, he received another reminder from the Emperor Network that his battle with Han Yu had ended, and he had gained 10 million points. Lin Mo walked out of the cabin with a happy mood, and also opened his Suzaku Star Region list. There is no doubt that the potential list is still in the first place. Lin Mo knows that as long as he does not rise to level 5 per mission for a day, the first place in the Suzaku Star Region potential list will be his, and no one can shake it. After the potential list is the Suzaku Star Region contribution list. He now has 4 contribution points, but he is still ranked 2nd, and has not been promoted to 1st. This shows that the one ranked 1st has at least 4 contribution points, or even more. Lin Mo was not disappointed by this. Contribution points are not easy to get, but they are not impossible to get. He obtained contribution points more by accident, while those old families must have a set of methods. Analyze which tasks can obtain contribution points, focus on those tasks, and obtain the corresponding contribution points. As for himself, he can only rely on luck. Close the contribution list and continue to view the last list. The Suzaku Star Region's combat power list. As he thought, the combat power list should be updated. When he opened the combat power list and saw his name impressively hanging at the top, Lin Mo showed a look of course. During the execution of the mission, he burst out a combat power comparable to the peak of the God King realm, and was recorded by the Emperor Network. It is not surprising that the Emperor Network put him on the top of the combat power list. Lin Mo thought to himself, I wonder if anyone will come to challenge me again. If they come to challenge me again, with the same bet, I might be able to make a fortune. Now I have almost 200 million points on me, so 1/10 is 20 million. This is a good idea. Lin Mo has this confidence. Even if he can't use the original spells in the Emperor Arena, he doesn't have to be afraid of any challenges with the Skeleton King. Outside the cabin, Han Yu did not leave. He looked at Lin Mo who came out, his eyes slightly complicated. Lin Mo asked strangely, what's wrong? He was delayed in the cabin for a while, thinking that Han Yu and others should have left, but he didn't expect to be waiting here. Han Yu said in a low voice, the combat power list has been updated. Lin Mo hummed, I know. Han Yu asked, how do you know the combat power list will be updated? What he meant was, if I had known you would be the first in the combat power list, I would have come to challenge you. Even if the Emperor Network makes a mistake, it is impossible to make such a ridiculous mistake. Lin Mo shook his head, I won't explain this in detail. Some 163 things are inconvenient to say, especially the special mission, which belongs to his special mission and is his secret. Han Yu expressed his understanding of this. There is really no need to tell himself, he just couldn't help but ask. Lin Mo changed the subject, are you familiar with the top 3 people on the combat power list? Han Yu's eyes were puzzled, not very familiar, what's wrong? Lin Mo said, you have also seen my combat power. If those guys are not convinced, they can come to challenge me. I don't charge a challenge fee, and it's still calculated according to the bet between us. Let them prepare their points first. Han Yu finally understood what Lin Mo was going to do, and this kind of thing is very likely to be completed. Based on his understanding of those guys, those people are likely not to be convinced and will come to challenge Lin Mo. But this bet is really too expensive. Han Yu casually calculated that Lin Mo now has nearly 200 million points on him. If he is challenged again, losing once will cost 20 million points. 20 million points is not a small amount for anyone. Han Yu took a deep look at Lin Mo. Lin Mo's eyes were gentle, young and handsome, and he looked harmless. If they ask me, I will tell them the truth. Han Yu has his own bottom line. He is not a pimp and will only speak objectively. But that's enough. Chapter 1267. Rolling Power of Faith. The challenge is over, Lin Mo wins completely. Han Yu and the other 8 people are all veteran God King realm powerhouses on the combat power list, but none of them have the power to resist. Except for Huoda and Han Yu, all were instantly killed. Lin Mo showed amazing combat power, and the powerful skeleton was deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. At the end of the battle, the discussion in the audience continued non-stop. It didn't stop until Lin Mo and Han Yu left. How can Lin Mo be so strong? Han Yu and Huoda are only a little bit behind him in the ranking, but they were completely abused by him. I feel that with Lin Mo's combat power, the combat power list ranking should be more than 10th. The Human Emperor Network is indeed wrong, Lin Mo Yu's ranking isn't too high, but too low. Even ranking in the top 3 wouldn't be a problem. Hey, go and look at the combat power rankings again. The combat power rankings have just been updated. Lin Mo Yu is already ranked first. No way, first place, The scene was ignited again, everyone opened the combat power rankings one after another, and sure enough, they saw Lin Mo Yu's name hanging in the first place. Zhang Ziyu clenched his teeth, his eyes became extremely complicated, he also opened the combat power rankings, staring at Lin Mo Yu's name. In his complicated gaze, there seemed to be a hint of fear, a hint of rejoicing. He actually reached the first place on the combat power rankings. Was it because the combat power rankings weren't updated before? How could it be such a coincidence? Zhang Ziyu had no intention of competing with Lin Moyu at this time, he simply couldn't compete. Now he was just thinking about when Lin Moyu could be promoted to level 5 authority and leave the Vermilion Bird Star region's rankings. On the other side, Han Yu and the other 8 left the arena. Bai Tianzong looked depressed. At this time, I'm really bankrupt. Han Wu smiled. Blame yourself for being blind, how could you encounter such a pervert? Han Yu chuckled. Losing is losing money doesn't mean losing heart, and we've seen what a real top genius is like, so we don't get too arrogant. Bai Tianzong gritted his teeth, he was still distressed about his points. How could this guy be so strong? Han Yu, when you were in the arena, Lin Moyu seemed to have said something to you, what did he say? Han Yu said, he told me that his strongest point isn't attack, but defense. The others were speechless for a while, the attack was already so strong, yet it wasn't the strongest. How strong would the strongest defense be? Han Yu continued, the 10,000-meter skeleton he summoned at the end, its attack power should be at the 7th rank of God King. If he didn't lie, his defense power should exceed the 7th rank of God King, reaching the 8th rank of God King. And this isn't his strongest combat power, the strongest side can't be used in the Human Emperor network, I guess it should be some kind of powerful magic weapon. Han Wu asked, if that's the case, it's not surprising that he can be ranked first on the combat power rankings. Bai Tianzong seemed to have thought of something fun, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and the heartache in his eyes faded a lot. Boss, do you think those guys will come to challenge Lin Moyu? Han Yu smiled. They should. Pa. Bai Tianzong slapped his palm heavily. Now there's a good show to watch, those guys are all arrogant, I really want to see them get beaten up. On the other side, Lin Moyu also left the arena and went to the mission center. He had already selected a mission before, and now that the previous mission was completed, he could take on a new mission. The 4th of the 5 battlefield missions. On the way, he could feel the power of faith constantly pouring in from the void. Strands and strands, the power of faith gathered into rivers, lakes, and seas. A lot of the power of faith didn't come from the Star Fortress, but from the human race star region. Since the combat power rankings reached first place, the power of faith began to increase, much more than when the potential rankings were first. It seems that more people pay attention to the combat power rankings than the potential rankings. It's not surprising, the human race also worships the strong. The combat power rankings represent real combat power, while the potential rankings only represent future potential. Many so-called geniuses who were once on the potential rankings eventually either exhausted their potential or died halfway. Only the combat power rankings belong to the world of truly strong people. Lin Moyu's ability to reach the first place in the combat power rankings represents that he really possesses powerful strength, and naturally he can harvest a lot of the power of faith. First in the 3 rankings, now only the contribution rankings are left. According to senior brother Zhuangbai, if you can get first in the 3 rankings, there will be additional rewards, I wonder what the rewards will be. In any case, the first place in the 3 rankings must be obtained, but these contribution points are not easy to earn. Lin Moyu didn't know which mission could harvest contribution points, so he could only gamble on luck. Along the way, he accepted the gazes of countless eyes. Lin Moyu became completely famous, a challenge match, led more than 150,000 cultivators in the battlefield, knew such a rising star of the human race. Lin Moyu was neither high profile nor low profile, just accepted it calmly. Entering the mission center, according to the rules, he waited in line for a while, and waited for a mission table. Manipulating the mission table, he took on a new mission. A battlefield mission. Explore the ancient tomb. Located in Area 7 to 10, there is an ancient tomb, explore its mysteries. Restrictions. God King 4th rank and below can enter. Completion conditions. In the depths of the tomb, there are a large number of stones soaked in the breath of death, bring back at least 1 piece. Mission reward. 10,000 points, additional rewards will be calculated based on the value of the items brought back. Notes. The ancient tomb suddenly appeared 10,000 years ago, unlike other chaotic rules, it has never disappeared since it appeared. In the deepest part of the tomb, it seems that ancient powerhouses are buried, and some people say it is connected to the ancient world. The risk is medium, please pay attention to safety. A reminder. You can set up a teleportation coordinate outside the tomb in advance. If there is danger, you can use the teleportation talisman to escape. A. Lin Moyu carefully checked the mission information, and then he consulted the specific information about the ancient tomb in Area 7 to 10 through the Human Emperor Network. However, the information provided in the Human Emperor Network was not comprehensive, far less comprehensive than the information in Zhu Qiwu's hands. However, he just wanted to understand it roughly, which was almost enough. This mission's risk was rated as medium. All chaotic rules will be assessed for risk when they appear. Medium risk, indicating that a god king had fallen or disappeared inside. In addition to the ancient tomb's restriction on realm, it is possible that a god king 4th rank powerhouse died inside. That's why an extra reminder was added, reminding people to use the teleportation talisman. Lin Moyu had a lot of this short-range personal teleportation talisman. Not bought by himself, but obtained from other people's inheritance. The method of use is also very simple. First, set a teleportation coordinate. As long as the distance does not exceed the limit of the teleportation talisman, you can return instantly, similar to the effect of using a teleportation array. But it cannot be used in those limited spaces, and the distance is too far. Basically, the teleportation distance will not exceed tens of millions of kilometers, which belongs to short-distance teleportation. The information said that the ancient tomb is not large. As long as you don't go to the deepest part, the teleportation talisman is enough to return. Chapter 1268. Some words I have to say. More and more power of faith, from the initial trickle, gathering into streams and rivers, gradually becoming turbulent, began to surge. More and more people began to notice the changes in the combat power rankings. Not long after, Lin Moyu's ranking rose again, jumping directly from 10th to 1st. It felt magical. People cultivate, always step by step. Every time you improve a realm, your combat power will increase. Or get some powerful magic weapons, combat power will also increase. This combat power increase may be a leap, a jump of several places. Lin Moyu's kind is no longer a jump, but a leap. First leap from 35th place to 10th place, then from 10th place, a leap to the 1st place. It is simply incredible. Lin Moyu's improvement, like there is no limit, constantly stunning people's eyes, breaking the normal people's thinking. People are amazed at the same time. There are countless people to Lin Moyu as an idol, began to blindly worship. The feeling of worship into the power of faith, gathered into Zhonghai, rolling to Lin Moyu. The power of faith ignores the limitations of space, over the inexplicable void, was Lin Moyu refining, and finally only retained the purest of those. The power of faith is a double-edged sword, that has a huge role, can be regarded as one of the source of power by the human race. There are also no small side effects. Under the blessing of the power of faith, Lin Moyu felt that his thinking became flexible and clear, the understanding of the law is becoming easier and easier. There are a lot of problems, he only needs to think about it, you can get the answer. There were many things he didn't understand, but with the help of the power of faith, he could quickly comprehend them. The power of faith felt to him as if countless people were helping him think and comprehend the laws together. Lin Moyu stood outside the mission center for several minutes, seemingly understanding the basic function of the power of faith. In the small world, he had felt the effect of the power of faith, which was to enhance the comprehension of laws. But at that time, the power of faith was relatively small, and the feeling was not as clear as it is now. Lin Moyu felt that his control over the laws had improved another step. According to data, the control of laws for a Tier 7 true god is between 22% and 23%. With the help of the power of faith, his control of laws reached 23%. If he could reach 24%, he would be a Tier 8 true god. His soul seemed to have touched the bottleneck of Tier 8 true god. As long as he worked harder, this bottleneck would not be difficult to break. But Lin Moyu stopped. Recently, he had been breaking through continuously, especially the last 2 times, which were breakthroughs by absorbing the souls of enemies with the source spell. The speed of breakthroughs was too fast, resulting in an unstable foundation. There was a sense of cramming in the understanding of the laws, and he needed some time to digest it. First do the mission, and strive for the first place in the 3 lists. With the existence of the source spell and the power of faith, it is not difficult to improve the realm. Lin Moyu made a decision in his heart and walked towards the teleportation array. In the teleportation array area of the Star Fortress, hundreds of teleportation arrays were built neatly side by side. The teleportation arrays kept lighting up, and cultivators either left or arrived. People came and went, and the whole area was extremely lively. One of them walked out of the teleportation array with a flash of light. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed slightly, and he took the initiative to walk over and greet the other party, Senior He. Although He Renqing had changed his appearance, the clothes on his body had not been changed, and his aura had not changed. And his physical body was not a real physical body, but a physical body refined from various rare materials, plus a peculiar and incomplete soul. Lin Moyu recognized him at a glance. He Renqing was first surprised. He didn't expect that anyone could recognize him. After seeing Lin Moyu, he couldn't help but smile. It's little friend Lin. Lin Moyu nodded. I wonder if Senior He is available. This junior would like to invite you to dinner. He Renqing didn't know what Lin Moyu was going to do, but seeing Lin Moyu's sincere appearance, he didn't refuse Lin Moyu's kindness and agreed. In the living area, in a delicate restaurant, Lin Moyu asked for a private room and ordered some special delicacies. On the battlefield, you can eat things that you can't eat in the human race's star field. Although the price is not cheap, although cultivators do not value the desire for food, because it is too delicious, it can still attract many people to come. He Renqing was not polite and started directly. The deliciousness of the food exploded in his mouth, and a special breath swept through his body, as if laws were surging. He Renqing closed his eyes, seeming to enjoy it very much. After a dozen seconds, he sighed for a long time. I haven't eaten delicious food for a long time. At the God Emperor realm, what can't you eat? But it is precisely the higher the realm, the lower the demand for this kind of oral desire. He Renqing said it had been a long time. I'm afraid it has been hundreds of years. Lin Moyu looked at He Renqing's appearance without any impatience. He had his own ideas when he invited He Renqing this time. He Renqing seemed to be recalling the past, and it took a long time to come back to his senses, and slowly said, Little friend Lin, did you come to me on purpose? What's the matter? His voice was slightly old, which did not match his current middle-aged appearance. Perhaps he had experienced too much, and in addition to being old, there was more depression in his tone. The physical body was a small matter, but only 1/3 of the soul was left. Unless there was a heaven-defying opportunity, it would be difficult to make progress in the future. The rest of his days were to find a place to live in seclusion and live his life in vain. Having once set foot in the world of the God Emperor realm, and now falling back again, the feeling can be imagined. Lin Moyu slowly got up and raised his glass. This cup, this junior respects you. He Renqing was slightly stunned, and also got up with a smile, and also raised his glass. Toasting represents respect. After Lin Moyu toasted 3 times in a row, he slowly opened his mouth. I know Senior He may have some doubts, but this is not important. This junior just has some words to say in his heart. This junior doesn't know or care about how others view Senior's actions. In my opinion, Senior has done his best. When he was at the True God realm, being controlled by the bewitching demon was not Senior's wish. Later, Senior achieved the God Emperor realm and has tried his best to remedy it, not only to save himself, but also to save the human race. If Senior really made up his mind and stole the military star map and handed it directly to the demon race, although Senior would still not be able to get rid of control, his life would be more comfortable than it is now. If I'm not mistaken, Senior should have killed a lot of people in these years. Most of those who were controlled by the bewitching demon together in the True God realm were killed by Senior, right? Lin Moyu said word by word. He Renqing looked serious, pouring wine cup after cup. He could see that Lin Moyu's words were very sincere, and this was indeed what Lin Moyu had in his heart. At that time, Zhu Qiwu was there, and Lin Moyu didn't want to say it. After all, his words could only represent his own meaning, and could not represent the ideas of the human race's high-level officials. The positions are different, and what you think is naturally different. This time, he happened to meet him, and Lin Moyu couldn't help but speak his mind. Since he had applied for a new identity for He Renqing and let him leave the battlefield, it meant that he had passed the human race's preliminary review. He had really gotten rid of the control of the bewitching demon. Until Lin Moyu finished speaking, He Renqing put down his glass, and laughed out loud with relief. Thank you, little friend Lin. No need for more words, a thank you is enough to express all of He Renqing's gratitude. At this time, Lin Moyu spread out his palm, and a huge force of law gathered in his palm. Chapter 1269 Information of Strange Stars. The gray and white laws formed a gas group. gathering in Lin Mo Yu's palm. The law became more and more intense, gradually turning into a solid, forming a gray and white gas group. The gas group became more and more intense, and gradually began to transform towards solidification. He Renqing watched quietly, his eyebrows gradually frowned, he seemed to have seen a similar gray and white gas group somewhere. Lin Mo Yu continued to condense the undying law, more and more. Until the law was completely solidified, like a gemstone. At this time the law suddenly changed. The gray part quickly turned towards white, and the balance was broken at this moment. The gemstone vibrated buzzing, seeming to become unstable, but under Lin Mo Yu's control, it finally stabilized. After a few minutes, a white ball appeared on Lin Mo Yu's palm, crystal clear, exquisite as jade. The ball exuded a strong aura of law, giving people a sense of vitality. In the very center of the white ball, there was a gray spot, very inconspicuous. The undying law controls life and death, and has both life and death sides. Although Lin Mo Yu forcibly transformed all the power of death into the power of life, there was still a last trace of the power of death that could not be erased. Life and death coexist, and life is contained in death, which is the characteristic of the undying law, and it is difficult to change. Lin Mo Yu's forehead was slightly sweating, solidifying the law was not easy for him. This was because his soul power was strong enough to do it. If it was replaced by another cultivator, at the Tier 7 True God, he would not be able to solidify the law at all. Generally, it would take until the God King realm. After Lin Mo Yu solidified the law, he took out a jade box to put it in. The jade box can extend the preservation time of solidified laws. Lin Mo handed the jade box to He Renqing. "Senior He, this is for you." He Renqing asked in confusion, "What is this for?" Lin Mo smiled mysteriously, "This is my law, you can absorb some and try." He Renqing didn't think Lin Mo would have any ill intentions, so he took a breath immediately. A strand of pure white law entered his body like a thin thread, and then quickly entered his soul world. He Renqing's soul immediately felt a burst of comfort, as if bathing in a hot spring, extremely comfortable. He was surprised to feel that his soul seemed to have recovered a bit. His soul was only 1/3 of its original size. Strictly speaking, his soul was severely damaged. If he weren't a god Venerable, this degree of soul damage would have killed him completely. Soul trauma is the most difficult to heal, and he had already given up hope. But now, Lin Mo's law. He looked at the jade box in front of him with surprise in his eyes. The jade box was like a pure white jade gem. This is simply his life-saving medicine. With it, he has hope of recovery. Then he looked up at Lin Mo, unable to speak for a long time. Lin Mo smiled slightly, "It seems to be effective. You can absorb it slowly, and your soul may be repaired. I don't know where you are going. If this law runs out, you can come to me, and I will find a way to send it to you again. Once the law is condensed, it cannot be stored for a long time. So making more is useless. Maybe by the time this law is completely absorbed, He Renqing has already recovered." He Renqing asked, "Why?" Lin Mo smiled, "I said before, I only ask my conscience when doing things. No matter how others see it, I think you did the right thing. You have already made the most advantageous choice in the worst environment. Even looking at the results, because of your choice, millions of demons died, didn't they?" He Renqing sighed a long breath. He closed the jade box and put it away. "Actually, the demons' losses are not as heavy as you said." Lin Mo didn't understand for a moment, but the next second, he already knew why He Renqing said that. "You're talking about clones, right?" He Renqing nodded. He could see that Lin Mo was very smart, so some things didn't need to be said so clearly. Just a hint, and Lin Mo could understand. Demons basically all cultivate clones. God Venerable Realm demons usually have 2 clones, while God King Realm and True God Realm demons also have 1 clone. When acting, demons usually let their clones act. It doesn't matter if the clone dies. It just takes some time and materials to cultivate another one. As long as the main body doesn't die, it can always be cultivated. If the main body dies, then everything is gone. He Renqing said, "The number of demons is not as large as our human race, but because they have clones, their losses are minimal in every major battle. This is also what makes them so terrifying." Lin Mo nodded, "So most of those who died this time were clones?" He Renqing nodded, 99% were clones. Very few were the main bodies of the demons. Lin Mo smiled and didn't care, "It doesn't matter. When I have the opportunity to enter the demons' ancestral land in the future, I will kill both clones and main bodies. He Renshing knew that Lin Mo was joking and didn't point it out. 0A seeking fresh flowers a. Lin Mo drank a glass of wine and spoke again. Senior He, where are you going next? He can no longer stay on the battlefield, nor will he be in the Vermilion Bird starfield. He should go to an unfamiliar starfield. The Human Emperor Network will also monitor all his actions. For those who have done things that harm the human race, even if it is not of their own free will, they need to be strictly managed. The human race's approach is understandable. After all, there are too many people, and they would rather kill the wrong person than let one go. He Renshing said, I don't know yet. Actually, it doesn't matter where I go. I just want to find a place to live in seclusion and live out the rest of my life. Lin Mo smiled and didn't say anything. He didn't know how to comfort him. After chatting for a few more words, the two left the restaurant together. At the farewell, He Renshing suddenly thought of something. I remembered, I once saw a gray and white star, it seems to be called the singular star. Lin Mo raised his eyebrows. Where did you see it? He had once seen the singular star in the star chart of the Great World. There are a total of 3 singular stars in the human territory. There is one singular star in the White Tiger starfield and one in the Black Tortoise starfield, and another one in the Central Divine City. Lin Mo didn't know if the one He Renshing saw was the one in the Vermilion Bird starfield. If it was that one, then it would be useless. He Renshing said, in the battlefield, let me think, it was a long time ago. His soul was severely damaged, which also had some impact on his memory. He had forgotten many things in the past, only remembering some important things. Lin Mo was not in a hurry and waited for several minutes before He Renshing suddenly said, I remembered, in area 8-88, there used to be a singular star there. There's no mistake, it's there. He Renshing seemed very happy that he could still remember. Lin Mo noted down area 8-88 and would go back to look for relevant information. But now he didn't want to improve his realm. He needed time to digest what he had gained before, so he wasn't in a hurry. Thank you, Senior He. Lin Mo thanked He Renshing. He Renshing shook his head, I should be thanking you. After saying goodbye to He Renshing, Lin Mo took the teleportation array to Fortress 7. Fortresses 7, 8, and 9 formed a triangular formation, serving as each other's support. They were the most important strongholds of the human race in the second layer of the Vermilion Bird battlefield. Lin Mo had just finished teleporting and didn't have time to go to the outpost when a hand pulled him out of the teleportation array. Chapter 1270, The Strong Must Follow Their Hearts. The owner of the hand was Zhu Qiwu, who pulled Lin Mo out of the teleportation array. He glared at Lin Mo and asked in a deep voice, what are you doing looking for He Renshing? Lin Mo wasn't surprised. He knew that He Renshing would inevitably be monitored for a long time in the future. The monitoring was naturally done by the Human Emperor Network. The Human Emperor Network also knew about his meeting with He Renshing just now, so it was not surprising that Zhu Qiwu knew. Lin Mo explained his meeting with He Renshing and his purpose. He didn't hide anything because doing so was in line with his heart. Any strong person must act in accordance with their heart in the process of cultivation and in the things they do. Only in this way can their thoughts be clear and can they truly become strong. Lin Mo did what he thought was right, and there was no problem. Zhu Qiwu understood the principle, so he didn't say anything to Lin Mo. The same thing, different positions and different angles will have different interpretations. He couldn't say that Lin Mo's thoughts were wrong, and the human race's high levels approach was also correct. Lin Mo asked, Senior, did you come here specifically because of this? Zhu Qiwu said in a low voice, I happened to be here and had some things to deal with. Lin Mo nodded and didn't ask further, if there's nothing else, then I'll go perform battlefield missions. Zhu Qiwu nodded and suddenly asked, you said your law can heal souls. Lin Mo nodded, it can, but the effect is unknown. I'm just trying this time. Zhu Qiwu was thoughtful, pondered for a few seconds, and waved his hand, go do your mission. Seeing Zhu Qiwu's appearance, Lin Mo knew that something was up and took the initiative to say, if there's anything I can do, just tell me. In the light of the teleportation array, Lin Mo left Fortress 7. Zhu Qiwu thought to himself, should I try it? After thinking for a long time, he still made a decision, no matter what, dragging it on is not a solution. I have to try. At the outpost base in area 7-10, Lin Mo emerged from the base's teleportation array. He switched to the Battle King Tower and shot off like a meteor. The outpost base was still billions of kilometers away from Area 7 to 10, and even with the Battle King Tower, it would take the better part of a day to reach. In the battlefield, each area had its own unique characteristics. Most areas produced various valuable materials. A small number of areas possessed powerful and easily comprehensible laws, making them ideal for comprehension. Such places became cultivation havens, comparable to the human race's Lost Sea. Moreover, the Lost Sea required a large number of points, while these areas didn't require any. However, they were more dangerous, requiring vigilance against attacks from various races. Material production areas and law areas accounted for more than 90% of the total. Besides these, there were a few more special and mysterious areas. These mysterious areas were filled with all sorts of bizarre things. The most famous were the various mysteries that appeared during periods of chaotic rules. The 7 to 10 area that Lin Mo was heading to this time was one such mysterious area. According to records, Area 7 to 10 was a material production area 10,000 years ago. This area produced a material called the Water of Death, which contained the Law of Death. Later, chaotic rules appeared, followed by an ancient tomb. The ancient tomb did not disappear and has remained to this day. As a result, Area 7 to 10, in addition to the Water of Death, had another place to explore. Over the past 10,000 years, people have gained a considerable understanding of the ancient tomb and have obtained many magical treasures from it. Yes, magical treasures containing the Law of Death, powerful magical treasures. For a long time, the ancient tomb welcomed many explorers, one after another. The exploration went deeper and deeper until a god king disappeared inside. Only then did people realize that the ancient tomb was not safe and that dangers existed within. At the same time, most of the magical treasures had been discovered, and it became difficult to find more. After that, fewer and fewer people came to the ancient tomb. Later, news spread that someone had seen the coffins of ancient powerhouses in the deepest part of the ancient tomb, attracting another group of people, but they still gained nothing. Lin Mo chose this mission for an important reason. His trip to the chaotic rules area last time made him very curious about the chaotic rules. The skeleton in the manor, the throne almost identical to the skeleton king's throne, and the various information left behind at that time, the old tree vines. All of these attracted him, attracting him to explore further. According to the information, the ancient tomb was full of death aura, which seemed to be somewhat similar to his undying law. The magical treasures that had been discovered were also made of white bones. Just looking at the information strengthened Lin Mo's determination to come and explore. Since the appearance of the chaotic rules and his trip to the manor, Lin Mo had maintained great curiosity about the events of the ancient era. He was eager to understand the events of the ancient era and wanted to know what happened back then. Afterward, he took the time to search for various information on the Human Emperor network. However, there was no information about the ancient era at all. He couldn't find anything. It seemed normal, but it was even more abnormal. How could there be no information about the ancient era? Now he couldn't find anything, either his permissions were insufficient, or it was deliberately hidden. While pondering, the Battle King Tower seemed to pass through a layer of film, entering another world. The aura filled with the Law of Death drilled into the Battle King Tower. Lin Mo sensed it carefully and murmured, "A very pure Law of Death." It was the real Law of Death, not the kind of death aura he had felt in the manor. The two were fundamentally different. The death aura in the manor was the aura after death. Just like his skeleton, the skeleton was already dead, and then revived. Its essence was somewhat similar to the undying law, and skeletons were also known as undead creatures. The law of death was the kind of law that completely obliterated vitality, the law of killing. The two seemed very similar, but they were actually different. Lin Mo, who dealt with the undying law every day, was very clear about this and wouldn't be mistaken. The Battle King Tower continued to fly towards the center of the area, its speed not slowing down at all. After flying another tens of billions of kilometers, the Battle King Tower suddenly stopped. Intense law fluctuations came from the front, someone was fighting fiercely. The warning bead on his waist flickered brightly, issuing a warning. At least one of the fighting parties was an enemy race, or both parties might be enemy races. What to do when encountering an enemy race on the battlefield? There was only one answer for all human races, and that was to kill. Unless they couldn't win, they would definitely take action to eliminate them. Lin Mo put away the Battle King Tower, concealed his aura, and flew away quickly. The undying law moved slightly, and the aura of death enveloped his entire body. In the eyes of outsiders, the aura of death was no different from the law of death here. When Lin Mo first arrived in the Great World, even the human emperor network was mistaken, let alone others. The law of death became Lin Mo's best protective umbrella, giving Lin Mo the ability to hide comparable to the Shadow Clan. Soon, Lin Mo saw the two sides fighting. Two god kings, one from the demon race and one from the golden eagle race. Not far from them was a black water ball with a diameter of 10 meters. The black water ball emitted a metallic luster on its surface, reflecting the surrounding starry sky. The interior contained an extremely rich law of death. Chapter 1271. The Snipe and Clam Fight, the Oriole Lurks Behind. The demon race and the golden eagle race were fighting for a portion of the water of death. This was a very common thing. Area 7 to 10 produced the water of death, but the amount of water of death was not abundant. This also led to the considerable value of the water of death. If it was discovered by multiple people at the same time, there would inevitably be competition. The water of death contained the law of death and had multiple uses. The most common was to comprehend the law of death. The law of death was one of the most powerful laws in the second tier. If one could comprehend it, it could greatly improve one's strength. The second use was that the water of death could be used to refine poison. As long as there was enough water of death, plus some other highly poisonous substances, the refined poison could even kill god sovereigns. The third use was to fuse it with the law of poison to refine extremely sinister magical treasures with powerful lethality. In addition to this, the water of death had many other uses, but no matter which one, it was enough to reflect its value. The demon race and the golden eagle race were fighting fiercely, almost desperately. Both sides wanted to end the battle as soon as possible. The longer the time dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be to both sides, and it might attract others. Laws collided fiercely in the starry sky, and both sides used all their strength. The golden eagle race was good at speed. Its entire body was glittering with golden light, its feathers were like sharp swords, and it carried the sharpness of the gold-based law, leaving traces of afterimages in the starry sky, as if it wanted to cut the starry sky open. The demon race fighting against him was a Vajra demon of the Hell lineage. His entire body was also flashing with golden light, extremely hard, and he was not afraid of the golden eagle race's attacks landing on him. It was just that he was too slow to do anything about the golden eagle race. Lin Mo borrowed the aura of death to hide in the void. He was about to take action to solve the two of them when he suddenly looked to the other side, smiled slightly, and put his raised hand back down. He noticed that there was someone else hiding on the other side. The snipe and clam were fighting, and that person obviously wanted to reap the benefits. And Lin Mo was the mantis catching the cicada, with the oriole lurking behind. Lin Mo's soul was too sensitive, and it was difficult for ordinary people to hide in front of him. Even if the Shadow Clan approached him, he might be sensed. A very thin mist appeared silently in the starry sky, and the mist silently, invisibly, and odorless enveloped over. The battling demon and golden eagle clans didn't notice the mist. Ignoring their protective laws, it silently seeped into their bodies. The mist also targeted Lin Mo, infiltrating his body as well. The undead law stirred slightly, instantly annihilating all the mist that entered his body with the power of death. Lin Mo's lips curled slightly, he had a rough idea of which race was hiding in the shadows. Besides the law of death, there's also the law of poison in the mist. Being able to fuse these two laws so perfectly, it should be none other than the Poison God clan. The Poison God clan wasn't a powerful clan. Their status was very similar to that of the Shadow clan. It wasn't because their individuals were weak, on the contrary, there were many strong individuals in their clan. But because the overall number of people was too small, they couldn't be included in the category of powerful clans. The individual combat power of the Poison God clan was very strong. Their methods were hidden and insidious, often killing people invisibly. They were born with a talent for the law of poison, and they were also good at fusing other laws with the law of poison, creating more lethal and terrifying poison-type laws. The poisonous mist fused with the law of death and the law of poison had astonishing damage. Lin Mo knew that the demon and golden eagle clans were finished. Both were only at the God King First Order, unable to withstand the poison of the Poison God clan. Sure enough, only a dozen seconds later, the two who were fighting with all their strength suddenly stopped. Their expressions changed drastically, and their eyes searched around. Without saying a word, the Golden Eagle clan member turned around and wanted to escape. The Vajra demon also gave up his entanglement with the Golden Eagle clan member and flew towards the other side. At this moment, the space was suddenly locked, and most teleportation devices lost their effect. Dense fog was born out of thin air, enveloping a large area of the starry sky. The Golden Eagle clan member was very fast, plunging into the dense fog, but only a second later, he flew back out of the dense fog. At this time, the golden light all over his body was dim, many parts of his body were corroded, his feathers lost their luster, and even melted, revealing his flesh. Black gas was also emerging from the flesh, and the black gas was still constantly corroding more flesh. His appearance was extremely miserable. The dense fog contained amazing poison, he almost died in it after only entering for a second. The Vajra demon was slightly slower. Seeing the Golden Eagle clan member in such a state, he immediately retreated, with fear in his eyes, and dared not touch the poisonous fog. The Golden Eagle clan member took a pill, and his injury was slightly better, but the pill could obviously only prevent the poison from spreading further, but could not truly eliminate the poison. He said coldly, "Poison God clan, do you want to start a war with my Golden Eagle clan? Let me leave quickly, I promise not to compete with you for the water of death." The voice of the Poison God clan member came from the dense fog. "Tisk tisk tisk, you're about to die, and your mouth is still so hard. Don't worry, in this king's death mist, you will be destroyed in a while, and nothing will be left. Your Golden Eagle clan won't know who killed you." The Golden Eagle clan member's face was ugly, he knew that the other party was telling the truth. The Vajra demon didn't say anything, he combined a magic stone and crushed it, and the magic stone suddenly burst into a sky-high flame. The emerald green abyss fire burned fiercely, trying to burn the dense fog. The flames collided with the dense fog, making a roaring sound. The dense fog was like a living thing, surrounding the flames, and gradually the abyss fire began to extinguish. "It's useless, a mere God King level abyss fire can't destroy this king's death mist." The voice of the Poison God clan member sounded again in the fog. The Vajra demon tried a few more times, but it was useless. He finally said coldly, "Trash of the Poison God clan, you destroyed this deity's clone, this deity remembers you." The shrinking death mist suddenly stopped. This Vajra demon was actually a clone of a god lord. Killing a god lord's clone with poison, this deal seems a bit of a loss. Lin Mo listened to it and saw it in his eyes, shaking his head slightly. He could see that the Vajra demon was the main body, not a clone. He was bluffing. The Poison God clan didn't notice it. After a few seconds, the Poison God clan member chose to give up. "You can go, but you must swear that you won't trouble me in the future." He was afraid that the God Lord would come to him for trouble, so he decided to let the Vajra demon go. Okay. The Vajra demon didn't refuse and agreed directly. At this moment, suddenly several sword chi tore apart the dense fog, instantly engulfing the Vajra demon. The Vajra demon was torn into pieces by the sword chi, and his powerful defense was not worth mentioning in front of the sword chi. "Who?" The Poison God clan member let out a startled cry. He didn't even notice that there was someone hiding in the dark. He had sensed it when he released the light poison gas before, and confirmed that there was no one around before he dared to be so unscrupulous. He was very confident in his detection methods, believing that even the Shadow clan, who were best at hiding their bodies, could not hide in his poison gas. If it were elsewhere, it might really be the case. But here was full of the law of death. With the help of the law of death, Lin Mo had a more terrifying ability to hide than the Shadow clan. The dense fog rolled, and Lin Mo appeared in the mist. He slowly passed through the mist, came to the Vajra demon's body, and found the storage magic weapon. He said softly, "I originally wanted to be a mantis stalking the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind, but you're too stupid, you can be deceived." Chapter 1272, How can you expect me to let you go? Human. The Golden Eagle clan and the Poison God clan hiding in the dense fog spoke in unison. There was some disbelief in their words. How could it be a human? When did the human race become unafraid of poison? In the information of each race, the human race was very balanced in every aspect, with no highlights. But why was this unremarkable human in front of them unafraid of poison? And the sword light just now instantly killed the Vajra demon. This made the Golden Eagle clan member vigilant. At this time, the Golden Eagle clan member suddenly trembled all over, and spat out a lot of black blood. The black blood exuded a stench, the golden light on his body became dimmer, and the wounds were also stinking. The poison broke out, the divine light in the eyes of the Golden Eagle clan member dimmed, knowing that he would die today. Lin Mo sighed softly, "Let me send you on your way, how can the military merits be wasted?" A skeleton god general appeared beside Lin Mo, wielding a white sword chi. In the instant before being swallowed by the sword chi, there seemed to be a look of relief in the eyes of the Golden Eagle clan member. So what if he was in the God King realm? The great world was full of dangers, even if he reached the God King realm, one wrong step would still lead to death. Lin Mo looked at the dense fog. "The next one will be you, are you coming out yourself, or am I inviting you out?" The dense fog rolled, and the poison god clan member hiding in it sent out a cold voice, "Do you think you can definitely kill me?" Lin Mo said in a low voice, "You can take a look outside." Outside, a large number of skeleton god generals stood densely in the starry sky. Not only outside the death mist, but also inside the death mist. The skeleton god generals, like Lin Mo, were not afraid of these poisons at all. White light surrounded them, and the lich generals tirelessly performed healing. Even if the skeleton god generals stayed in the death mist for a whole year, nothing would happen. The skeleton god generals were very strong. The poison god clan members had just witnessed it with their own eyes, easily killing the Vajra demon and the Golden Eagle clan. If he faced them, it was estimated that the ending would be similar. The strength of the poison god clan lay in concealment and poison, not in frontal combat power. The poison god clan member softened, "What do you want to let me go?" Lin Mo chuckled, "Your poison god clan also participated in the great battle tens of thousands of years ago. I remember, in the Vermilion Bird Star region, there were 13 life star systems, with trillions of people, who were poisoned to death by you, right?" The thick fog churned even more violently, and the poison god clan member said coldly, "We have already paid the price afterwards." Xiao Zontian did indeed enter the ancestral land of the poison god clan afterward, wiping out at least 2/3 of the poison god clan, almost leading to their extinction. Although the poison god clan managed to survive, their numbers were greatly reduced, and they fell out of the ranks of the strong clans in one fell swoop. Tens of thousands of years have passed, and they still haven't recovered. Lin Mo continued, "Although I don't know why the god of war Xiao spared you a way out in the end. However, our two races are mortal enemies, that's for sure, right?" The poison god clan member didn't speak, he remained silent. Lin Mo snapped his fingers, "Since that's the case, how can you expect me to let you go?" In an instant, countless sword energies erupted simultaneously, the pure white sword energy tore apart the deathly fog, and the poison god clan member hidden in the fog was immediately revealed. His whole body was also shrouded in thick fog, dodging the sword energy attacks in a sorry state. But facing the dense sword energy, his dodging was useless. Previously, in order to prevent the Vajra demon and Golden Eagle clan members from escaping, he personally locked down the starry sky and shielded the teleportation devices. Now, this action has become his own death warrant. The sword energy tore apart his thick fog and tore apart his body. In the thick fog, the appearance of the poison god clan member was revealed. A slender body, 4 legs and 6 arms, with a very strange appearance. From another angle, or if he were to lie down, he would look a bit like a spider. The sword energy cut off his hands and feet, and severed his body. Black blood flowed out, emitting a sour smell. The poison god clan members are born to be with poison, and their whole bodies are highly poisonous. After easily dealing with them, Lin Mo flicked a ball of undying flame from his finger. The undying flame exploded, landing on the pieces of flesh of the 3 corpses respectively. In the raging flames, the 3 corpses were reborn, their souls reorganized, and in the blink of an eye, they had become revenants, prostrating themselves in front of Lin Mo. Lin Mo looked at the revenant of the poison god clan, "Is there a restriction in your soul?" The poison god clan member honestly replied, "Yes." Sure enough, he didn't even need to ask. Many races have restrictions planted in their souls to prevent some secrets from being spied on. The human race is fine, they never place restrictions, after all, they are a strong race, and even the God King realm cannot access too many secrets. The Golden Eagle clan and the Demon clan are the same, their star regions are vast, and they are not afraid of other races spying on them at all. But the Poison God clan cannot, perhaps they were once like the human race, but not now. Where their ancestral land is, that is the biggest secret. If other races find out, they might be attacked the next day. The Poison God clan has many enemies, and there are many who want to destroy their race. Lin Mo didn't hold out hope either, and asked in a deep voice, "Tell me everything you can about the Poison God clan." Yes, he immediately began to narrate. As a god king of the Poison God clan, he didn't know too many secrets, but he still knew a lot about the general situation. The Poison God clan is now shrinking in a mysterious area, never interacting with other races, recuperating. The number of people in the clan has recovered to the level of hundreds of millions, he doesn't know the exact number. Among the various races, this number is not too small, but it is still far from being a strong race. Even a random life star system of the human race may have billions or tens of billions of people living in it. From his words, it can be seen that Xiao Zontian did beat them quite badly back then. And after Xiao Zontian, other races also took action, kicking them when they were down. The Poison God clan's members back then were at their worst, with less than 1 in 100 surviving. After listening, Lin Mo noted down this information, turned around and came to the Water of Death. A soul force stretched out, enveloping the Water of Death. Under the wrapping of soul force, the Water of Death gradually shrank. From 10 meters in diameter, it eventually became only the size of a fist, less than 10 centimeters. At this time, the Water of Death changed from liquid to solid, like a metal ball, that could be held in the hand. Lin Mo took out a jade box and put the Water of Death into it. With a thought, the Golden Eagle clan member came to his feet, becoming his mount, and flew towards the ancient tomb together. There are countless races in the great world, and many races are known for their speed. Many of these races are suitable to be used as mounts. Nua squared Kia Enda, the Golden Eagle clan, is one of them. Using intelligent races as mounts has advantages that magical treasures cannot compare to. They themselves have combat power, are more flexible, and can actively avoid danger. Lin Mo had used the Golden Eagle clan as a mount once before, and from then on, he felt the advantages. It was really much more useful than the Battle King Tower. I 1/2 I 1/4 It is said that the best mount is the Dragon clan, but the Dragon clan. He thought of Antares, whom he hadn't seen for a long time, and thought it was better to forget it. He might not be able to see ordinary dragons, and if he used a divine dragon as a mount, Antares would probably breathe dragon breath and kill himself. Lin Mo put down the distracting thoughts in his heart, and stopped thinking about unrealistic possibilities. He still remembered what he had promised Antares. When Antares returned to the Great World, he would accompany Antares to kill back to the Dragon clan. To kill back to the Dragon clan requires strong strength, otherwise going there would be suicide. Lin Mo felt that he needed to be at least in the God Venerable realm to be worth watching. Gradually, a magnificent giant tomb appeared in sight. Chapter 1273 The First Test. Speed. The ancient tomb revealed a strong aura of death. Lin Mo had sensed this aura when he was still tens of millions of kilometers away. It was a true aura of death, different from the aura of the law of death, closer to the power of death of the law of immortality. Ordinary people cannot distinguish the difference between the two, only a controller of the law of immortality like Lin Mo can distinguish the two. Lin Mo stood on the back of the Golden Eagle clan member, quietly feeling the aura of death emanating from the tomb. It was exactly the same as the aura of death in the mysterious manner. It could be determined that the two came from the same world. But the divine manner was like an independent world, or rather a projection of another world, that could only be felt upon entering it. And the ancient tomb had already come to the great world, gradually merging with the great world. From the aura of death, Lin Mo also felt a trace of the law of death. The law of death belonged to the laws of the great world, indicating that the law of death was permeating the ancient tomb. This permeation was very slow, but it was always in progress. Permeation, change, fusion. Lin Mo seemed to have realized something, as if he had grasped something, but it seemed like he hadn't realized anything. He clearly realized that it was because his level was not high enough. This change seemed to involve the origin of the laws, which was too far away from him. The ancient tomb gradually magnified in sight, and now there were not many people coming to the ancient tomb, at least not many in the human race. If it were placed thousands of years ago, almost every day people would enter the ancient tomb to explore. If they could obtain a magical treasure from it, they could obtain amazing benefits. Later, the ancient tomb became dangerous, and the magical treasures inside were almost all taken away, so fewer and fewer people came. Most people came to Area 7 to 10, just for the Water of Death. The aura of the ancient tomb became more and more intense, and when it was still 100,000 kilometers away, the aura of the ancient tomb had overwhelmingly surged over. Like ocean waves, hitting the body and soul in waves. The soul world vibrated endlessly under the impact of the aura of death. If it had not reached the third-rank soul, it would not be able to block the impact of the aura of death at all. Under the continuous impact of the aura of death, the soul would rapidly corrode and die. Continuing to approach, the ancient tomb became increasingly clear in sight. This was a rectangular tomb, its surface piled with black stones. At the entrance of the tomb, approximately 1,000 meters high, was a semicircular arch. On either side of the entrance stood 2 blank stone tablets, upon which were carved giant skull images. The material of the stone tablets differed from that of the tomb, appearing white and emitting a jade-like luster. Lin Moyu arrived in front of the tomb, reaching out to touch the main body of the tomb. The black, unknown stone material was exactly the same as the ancient castle in the mysterious manner, incredibly sturdy. The stone tablets on both sides of the entrance, although different in color and material, were equally sturdy. Lin Moyu tried, but even with all his strength, he couldn't leave a mark on them. Someone had once tried to take the 2 stone tablets back, but no matter what they did, they couldn't succeed. At the tomb's 1,000-meter-high entrance, the dilapidated gate had one half hanging on the tomb, the other half fallen on the ground. Judging from the gap, it had been cleaved open by a powerful expert using a sharp weapon. The material of the gate was the same as the tomb, equally incomparably sturdy. With Lin Moyu's ability, he couldn't leave any trace on it. The half of the gate that had fallen to the ground, although already damaged, still couldn't be taken away. The broken door lying on the ground, seemingly remained integrated with the entire tomb. Similar situations had been seen in the mysterious manner. Those clearly shattered stones, scattered randomly on the ground, just couldn't be taken away, nor could they be moved. An invisible force held them firmly in place. One could imagine how powerful the force that broke the gate back then was. Lin Moyu felt that even a Goda degree might not have the ability to cause such destruction. Carefully observing the ancient tomb, apart from the skulls on the stone tablets and the broken gate, the tomb seemed to have nothing else. The massive exterior had no extra carvings or decorations, appearing extremely simple and unadorned. The whole thing exuded a desolate aura, as if it came from an ancient behemoth. In ancient times, one didn't know what kind of powerhouse would be buried in such a tomb after death. But on second thought, even such powerhouses would have a day of death. Immortality, how difficult it is. God kings and God emperors all have lifespan limits, and there will eventually be a time of great limit. Even the dragon race, which has the longest lifespan, will have a day of death. No one wants to die. The pursuit of invincible power, a higher realm, is actually in pursuit of true immortality, or even eternal life. He found a place outside and placed a teleportation rune mark. In case of danger, he could return at any time. Let's go in. The Poison God clan member and the Vajra demon first entered the ancient tomb. Lin Moyu, riding the Golden Eagle clan member, followed behind. The Vajra demon walked in the front, the Poison God clan member kept 1,000-meter distance from him, and Lin Moyu, at the rear, also kept 1,000-meter distance from the Poison God clan member. Although a 2,000-meter distance wasn't far, it could still leave enough reaction time for himself. In case of danger, he would let the Vajra demon take the lead. After entering the tomb, it was a long tomb passage. The light became dimmer and dimmer. After walking 100 meters, the light completely disappeared, and the tomb passage became completely dark. Lin Moyu threw out a ball of undying flames. The undying flames floated in the air, bringing a bit of light. The undying flames flickered, casting long shadows. Footsteps echoed in the long tomb passage, making the entire tomb even more eerie and terrifying. For a powerhouse of Lin Moyu's level, it was impossible to be afraid of ordinary ghosts and monsters. Ghosts and yin spirits were nothing more than souls, or obsessions, that could be erased at will. Moreover, seeing in the dark was just commonplace, and his vision wouldn't be affected at all. It was just that this place was very strange. When the tomb passage turned black, Lin Moyu found that his vision was really affected. That's why he used the undying flames to illuminate the area. After walking for 10,000 meters, the tomb passage still hadn't reached its end. The entire tomb passage was straight, without any extra forks. No matter where you walked, it was the same scene, unchanging. Gradually, Lin Moyu felt that something was wrong. The distance they were traveling now had already exceeded the distance of the tomb passage seen from the outside. Unless a space formation was used in the tomb passage to expand the space, this effect could be achieved. But obviously not in front of him. The space expanded by the formation was different from normal space and couldn't be hidden from him. Lin Moyu realized that the first checkpoint of the tomb had appeared. The information said that after entering the tomb, you would encounter the first checkpoint, testing speed. Lin Moyu originally thought there would be some mechanism, so he was always ready to dodge. But now it seemed that it shouldn't be. He stopped, and the Poison God clan member also stopped. The next second, the Vajra demon suddenly roared and ran forward quickly. Since it wasn't some mechanism and the test was speed, then it was really the literal meaning. The Vajra demon's speed became faster and faster, turning into an afterimage. Although the Vajra demon wasn't good at speed and couldn't be compared with the Golden Eagle clan. But after all, he was a god king, and his speed was not slow after all. In Lin Moyu's perception, the Vajra demon flew away quickly, becoming faster and faster. It seemed to reach a certain critical point, and suddenly he lost the Vajra demon's perception. Chapter 1274. Ambush in the Tomb. He lost contact with the Vajra demon, and the connection between them was broken. Lin Moyu's first reaction was that the Vajra demon was dead. But thinking about it, it didn't feel right. Even if the Vajra demon was killed instantly, he could feel the attack coming. But the Vajra demon disappeared very abruptly, without any signs. Just as Lin Moyu was puzzled, the Vajra demon suddenly appeared again, in his perception. Not dead. The Vajra demon was indeed not dead, but the connection with him became very weak. It seemed that they were not in the same space-time. After thinking for a while, he already knew what was going on. The next moment, the Poison God clan member began to sprint wildly. His 8 hands and feet created countless afterimages on the ground, carrying him forward quickly. His speed was much faster than the Vajra demon. In the blink of an eye, he reached the critical point, and then he disappeared like the Vajra demon. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. After waiting quietly for a few seconds, the Poison God clan member reappeared in his perception. He and the Vajra demon were in the same space, not far from each other. It seems that as long as the speed is enough, you can pass this level. Lin Moyu gave the order, and the mount under his feet turned into a golden stream of light, rushing forward quickly. The speed of the Golden Eagle clan was indeed very fast, reaching the critical point almost in the blink of an eye. Bang! Like a bubble being punctured, the Golden Eagle clan turned into a phantom and dissipated in front of Lin Moyu, while Lin Moyu himself seemed to have crashed into an invisible air wall and was knocked back heavily. Lin Moyu fell to the ground, his body emitting a pure white light. The skeletons bore the damage caused by this impact. Lin Moyu clearly felt that at the moment of the impact, an invisible law invaded his body. It really doesn't leave any loopholes. Lin Moyu didn't expect that the rules here were so strict that he couldn't borrow the speed of the Golden Eagle clan to pass the level. It seems that I can only rely on myself. Although this level isn't difficult, you must use your own power. Only when your own speed reaches the critical point can you pass. So, the Golden Eagle clansman passed just now, while Lin Moy, who went north, was stopped by the rules. Lin Moyu got up, took a deep breath, and with a sudden force from his legs, shot forward like a sharp arrow. His speed wasn't slow, merely his true god peak body was enough for him to pass this level. Lin Moyu's speed grew faster and faster, reaching the spiritual realm point after a few seconds. The bubble shattered before his eyes, and Lin Moyu felt as if he had arrived in another world. The connection in his soul with the resurrected became incomparably clear, and he easily sensed their location, not far from him. With a slight thought, the 3 resurrected immediately rushed over. Lin Moyu simultaneously surveyed this space. From now on, he could be considered to have truly entered the interior of the tomb. The interior of the tomb wasn't as dark as imagined, but rather relatively bright. All the light sources came from the white bones on the surrounding walls, these bones densely packed into the walls, filling every gap. They were like luminous pearls, sparkling and shining, illuminating the entire tomb. This was a semicircular space, with a very high ceiling, at least 1,000 meters high. From its shape, and the appearance of the ancient tomb seen from the outside world, Lin Moyu judged that he had passed through the long tomb passage and entered the interior of the tomb. Around, there were a full 10 stone gates of uniform size, each stone gate 500 meters high, with uniform size specifications, and the stone gate materials were exactly the same, precisely the black stone used for the tomb's main body. The black stone gates, with the glowing white bones, formed a sharp contrast. The eerie feeling became even more pronounced, making people feel strange. The 10 stone gates represented 10 directions, or 10 secret chambers. 7 of the stone gates were already open, while the other 3 were closed. With Lin Moyu's ability, he had no way to deal with the closed stone gates. The stone gates weren't opened just now. When the ancient tomb first appeared 10,000 years ago, these stone gates were already like this. Over the millennia, countless people had entered to explore, and everything that could be taken had been taken. If these stones couldn't be taken away, they would probably have been emptied long ago. If there were any good things left in the tomb, they would be behind these 3 still closed doors. Have you been in before? Lin Moyu asked the 3 resurrected. The 3 shook their heads, and the Golden Eagle clansman said, "Our clan records that everything here has been taken away, and there's no need to go in." The answers from the Poison God clan and the Vajra demon were similar. The information Lin Moyu saw in the records was also similar. According to the information, each secret chamber is a tomb, and there is a coffin inside. They should be the tomb owner's relatives, who were buried together as sacrifices. But these coffins are empty, and the people inside are nowhere to be found. If that's the case, then there's really no need to go in. Lin Moyu looked straight ahead, where there was a dark passage leading to the depths of the tomb. According to the mission information, after passing through this passage, there would be a dried-up fountain. Scattered in the fountain pool were a large number of stones. These stones were tainted by the law of death, and as long as one was brought back, the mission would be completed and a reward would be obtained. 0A seeking fresh flowers. This mission looked very easy, but it wasn't. Of the 10 people who accepted this mission, less than half could complete it. And the difficulty in completing the mission lay in the second tomb passage before him. The Vajra demon took the lead in entering the tomb passage, which was dark and without lighting. However, this tomb passage wasn't long, and the Vajra demon quickly reached the end of the passage. Nothing happened during the entire process. Until the moment he left the tomb passage, an overwhelming attack fell upon the Vajra demon. The Vajra demon didn't even have time to react and was instantly killed. There's an ambush. Lin Moyu was slightly puzzled. Judging from the information sent back by the Vajra demon before his death, someone was actually lying in ambush at the other end of the passage. It's different from what's recorded in the information. 0. The information says that the second level is in the second passage. Why did the Vajra demon walk out of the passage without anything happening, only to be ambushed after leaving the passage? Lin Moyu was very puzzled and didn't know what had happened. The resurrected weren't like skeletons, able to connect to their vision at any time. They could only be judged by transmitting some information back. This also destined that the judgment couldn't be too precise. Lin Moyu didn't feel sorry for the death of a resurrected. Immediately, the Poison God clansman entered the passage. Under Lin Moyu's command, he increased his speed to the limit, and rushed out of the passage in almost a few tens of seconds. Like the Vajra demon, he didn't suffer any attacks in the passage. It wasn't until he rushed out of the passage that an overwhelming attack fell on his head. Without any surprises, the Poison God clansman was instantly killed. Lin Moyu frowned, his heart stirred, and the Golden Eagle clansman transformed into a golden light, shooting into the passage. The Golden Eagle clansman's speed far exceeded that of the Vajra demon and the Poison God clansman, and he crossed the passage in less than 20 seconds. Again, an overwhelming attack fell, but the Golden Eagle clansman was too fast and dodged most of the attacks. But then, the Golden Eagle clansman seemed to have hit something and was forcibly stopped. Another round of intensive attacks, and the Golden Eagle clansman also followed in their footsteps. At the other end of the passage, Lin Moyu collected more information. There should be someone lying in ambush at the other end. And there are quite a few people. Who are they? What are they trying to do? Why has the second passage lost its effect? In his thoughts, hundreds of skeleton god generals appeared beside Lin Moyu, surrounding him in the center, and together they entered the second passage. Chapter 1275, Boring Illusion, Deserved Bull Demon Clan. The undying flames ignited, and the white bones of the skeleton god generals reflected a brighter light, illuminating the passage. At the same time, it shone out many shadows in the passage. Either reflected on the walls, or reflected on the ground. It looked as if countless people were walking. The second passage was different from the first. There was nothing on the walls of the first passage. Many runes were engraved on the walls of the second passage. Lin Moyu didn't recognize these runes, but it didn't prevent him from appreciating them. In his eyes, these runes were like dancing butterflies, containing an unspeakable beauty. Every rune, every stroke, penetrated the stone deeply. Being able to carve runes on such solid black stone, the strength of the carver was beyond what he could compare to. Suddenly, the runes lit up. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. This situation once again exceeded his expectations. The three resurrected had entered one after another before, but none of them had activated the runes. Why had the runes suddenly been activated when it was his turn? 870. Lin Moyu thought about the situation and the information. The key to passing the second level was willpower. The information didn't explicitly state it, just these two words. The key to passing the first level was speed, also just two words. This was the characteristic of the human race. In order to cultivate the human race's higher-ups made the mission information vague. The original intention is to hope that everyone explores on their own and does not rely on others. Although in this way, there will be much more unnecessary damage, and those who can smoothly complete the task and pass the level are truly strong, and also smart. Lin Mo agreed with this and felt helpless. In the Azure Dragon Star region of the human race, there is a saying with only 8 characters, which perfectly explains the rules set by the high-level human race. Survival of the fittest. Lin Mo muttered to himself, silently savoring this sentence. Although it is a bit cruel, it does contain truth. An inexplicable law emerged in the passage, quickly enveloping most of the passage, and also enveloping Lin Mo. Lin Mo felt that he suddenly became weak, and all the laws and all the power were rapidly weakening. A sense of panic could not help but emerge in his heart. But in the next second, this trace of panic was erased by Lin Mo. Illusion. Lin Mo already understood what was going on, and was not flustered at all. No wonder the keyword considered in the second level is will. Then let me see what kind of illusion it is. A familiar starry sky appeared in front of him, with the stellar essence fire burning fiercely. Blue flame star was not far from him, showing off its power to the outside. Zhu Qiwu was not by his side, he was alone. With weakened power and disappearing spells, the enormous heat of blue flame star almost burned him to ashes. Sweat kept pouring out of his body, and breathing became extremely uncomfortable. At this time, the Abyss Dragon Demon appeared not far away with a grin. Without spells, without power, and without Zhu Qiwu. Encountering the Abyss Dragon Demon's clone in front of Blue Flame Star, he would surely die. Lin Mo should have been flustered, but he wasn't. Lin Mo just quietly looked at the Abyss Dragon Demon. The Abyss Dragon Demon roared, and its terrifying aura swept over, blowing on Lin Mo like a hurricane, as if to tear him to pieces. Alas! Letting out a long sigh. Lin Mo had already seen through this illusion. There are many kinds of illusions. Most illusions look for flaws from the depths of one's heart, find the things one fears most, exaggerate them, and present them in front of one's eyes, making one feel fear, affecting the soul, and ultimately dying in the illusion. However, since his debut, there is almost nothing that can scare Lin Mo. Even in the most dangerous times, he had never been afraid. Back then in the corpse realm, how dangerous it was, he almost lost his life in it. He had experienced all kinds of emotions, but never fear. Lin Mo, who had long seen through the illusion, looked at the Abyss Dragon Demon not far away and shook his head slightly. Estimating that the illusion could not find a more powerful enemy in his heart, it could only find the second clone of the Abyss Dragon Demon. His eyes narrowed slightly, and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal in his soul suddenly burst out with a dragon roar. In the illusion, the 9-colored dragon soul crystal transformed into a divine dragon and flew out, swallowing the Abyss Dragon Demon in one gulp. The illusion instantly shattered, and the scene in front of him returned to normal. He was still in the passage, and the runes were no longer glowing. Lin Mo also understood why the reborn who entered earlier did not activate the runes and experience the illusion. The reborn can be regarded as his puppet, and for a puppet, there is naturally no need to use illusion for testing. Just like the skeleton god generals around him, the illusion test has nothing to do with them. Lin Mo walked forward again, and runes lit up again. The second illusion quickly formed. Several women appeared in front of him, with enchanting figures, beautiful appearances, and breathtaking beauty. Ning Yi, Shu Han, Mo Yun, Mu Shenxian, Ji Yu Qingshan, Yu Qingru. In addition, there were many other people. Almost all the beauties he had ever seen were present. They walked towards him one after another, their clothes gradually becoming revealing, and their eyes showing more coquettishness. Soft music sounded in his ears, making people feel itchy and restless, as if a fire of desire was churning in his heart. The first illusion test was fear, and the second was lust. Boring. Anger rose in Lin Mo's eyes. He loved his 4 wives very much, and now all 4 of them were resting in the coffin of slumber. The illusion actually used them to tempt him, which touched his bottom line. Lin Mo didn't plan to play anymore. This level of illusion had no effect on his soul. The 9-colored dragon soul crystal once again let out a dragon roar, and the illusion instantly shattered. Lin Mo strode forward. Soon, the runes flickered, and the 3rd illusion appeared. Just as the scene in front of him began to change, the 9-colored dragon soul crystal had already let out a dragon roar, and the illusion shattered directly before it could even form. He didn't want to play anymore, he had had enough. A mere illusion, he would just break it. The 4th illusion was the same, destroyed before it even appeared. Light appeared ahead, and the passage was about to reach its end. Lin Mo's eyes flashed with cold electricity, he wanted to see who dared to ambush here. He had killed 3 of his reborns in a row. Although they were just reborns, they were also his subordinates. As their master, he naturally had to seek justice for his subordinates. The skeleton god generals rushed out of the passage first, but the expected attack did not come. Lin Mo felt strange, could it be that the ambushers have retreated? It wasn't until he walked out of the passage that he discovered that a group of bull demon race guys were lying scattered all over the place. Each of them was festering and looked miserable. Lin Mo thought for a moment and understood what had happened. These bull demon race guys had killed the poison god race people. The poison god race was full of poison, and the poison inside their bodies was 100 times stronger than the poison outside. After the poison god race died, the poison in their entire bodies would explode. The poison was ineffective against Lin Mo, but it was fatal to others. Even if the poison god race had become reborn, they would turn to ashes after death. But their racial characteristics would not change. Before turning to ashes, the poison would also explode in a wave. As a result, the bull demon race people who were ambushing were all poisoned, and were about to die. Lin Mo glanced around, and about 20 bull demon race people were lying on the ground. Lin Mo had no intention of saving them. Although the bull demon race didn't have any great feud with the human race, they were never friendly. And if he had come out first, he would definitely have been ambushed. For the time being, they were enemies, not friends. Drip. The sound of water came. Lin Mo saw the fountain 100 kilometers away. The fountain, which had dried up in the data, had started to drip water again at some point. Chapter 1276. Wisdom and observation, both are indispensable. This was a garden. It was a very strange thing for a garden to appear in a tomb. But after experiencing this mysterious manner, Lin Mo was no longer surprised by this. Life was bred in the extreme death, seemingly full of vitality, but in fact, it was full of death. Like his undying law, the limit of death is life. Drip, drip, the fountain constantly sprayed out water droplets, flying 10 meters high before falling. One drop after another, not many, but continuous. The fountain, clearly dry for 10,000 years, had surprisingly begun to spout water again. It was like an old, withered tree that had been dead for 100 years suddenly sprouting new life, astonishing people. Each drop of spring water that sprayed out would spread a vast and obvious law of death. As the crystals fell and scattered in the spring, the law of death was projected above the fountain like a shadow, extremely clear. This place had become an excellent cultivation sanctuary. If one wanted to comprehend the law of death, this was the best place. As long as one wasn't too stupid, with a bit of time, they would surely be able to comprehend the law of death. Following the dripping spring water, Lin Mo Yu saw a group of bull demons in front of the fountain. Hundreds of bull demon clansmen faced the fountain, some standing, some sitting, some lying down, in various postures. They were comprehending the law of death. Seeing this scene, Lin Mo Yu roughly understood why the bull demon clan was blocking the passage. He couldn't help but sneer. They actually thought of this, they even dared to do something that would enrage everyone. How many lives does the bull demon clan have? Lin Mo Yu guessed that they hadn't been blocking the entrance for long. Otherwise, it would surely have spread, and it would definitely provoke public anger. Whether it was the demons, the humans, or the Golden Eagle clan, they would all send large armies, and these bull demons simply couldn't stop them. Not far away, Lin Moyu saw a net-shaped magic weapon that had fallen to the ground. It was this net-shaped magic weapon that had caught the Golden Eagle clan's resurrector earlier. Otherwise, with the Golden Eagle clan's speed, these bull demons wouldn't have been able to instantly kill him. The owner of the net-shaped magic weapon wasn't dead yet. Although it had fallen to the ground, it was still flickering with a faint light, ready to be used again at any moment. Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and hundreds of skeleton divine generals rushed out, instantly crossing hundreds of kilometers. The pure white sword light illuminated the garden, and countless flowers and plants were swept up by the sword energy. Many bull demons who were comprehending the law of death were torn to pieces by the sword energy before they could even react. Lin Moyu calmly took out a space-fixing pearl and activated it. The space-fixing pearl bloomed with dazzling light, and an invisible force swept out. In an instant, the space was locked down, and most teleportation devices could not be used. You do the first day of the lunar month, I'll do the 15th. Since they had become enemies, Lin Moyu didn't plan to let them go. The space-fixing pearl was a double-edged sword, capable of harming both the enemy and oneself. After locking down the space, even if the space-fixing pearl was deactivated, it would take some time for the space to recover. If he was defeated, it could prevent him from escaping. Lin Moyu had encountered similar situations several times, where someone used the space-fixing pearl and ended up trapping themselves, digging their own grave. The bull demons reacted, withdrawing from their comprehension state and roaring as they launched attacks on the skeleton divine generals. The skeleton divine generals possessed the battle power of a third-order god king, which was top tier in this area. Under the sudden attack, dozens of bull demon god kings were killed on the spot. There were also fourth-order god kings among the bull demons, who counterattacked one after another. But before they could act, their bodies suddenly exploded. Stellar-level spell, corpse explosion. Lin Moyu stood hundreds of kilometers away, calmly detonating corpse after corpse. With the talent bonus, a second-order god king's corpse was enough to kill a third-order god king. A third-order god king's corpse was enough to kill a fourth-order god king. The skeleton divine generals frantically unleashed sword energy, recklessly pursuing and killing the bull demons. Lin Moyu continued to cast corpse explosion from behind. In the blink of an eye, the hundreds of bull demons were almost completely wiped out. Until the very end, they didn't know who their enemy was. In their eyes, there were only skeletons, nothing but skeletons. Lin Moyu stood hundreds of kilometers away, unnoticed by them. At this time, the bull demons who had been taken down by the Poison God clan were also basically dead. Lin Moyu had the skeleton divine generals collect their storage equipment, while he went straight to the fountain to observe it carefully. The information didn't mention the state of the garden, but if I'm not mistaken, when the fountain was dry, this garden should have been lifeless as well. It wasn't until the fountain was restored that the garden regained its vitality. But why would the fountain be restored? Lin Moyu saw that there was already a thin layer of black water in the pool. The black water emitted a rich aura of the law of death, and was very pure water of death. There were many stones in the pool, each a little smaller than a fist, covering a layer. The water of death only soaked about 1/10 of the stones, not a large amount. The stones were black in color, also emitting an aura of death, and were exactly the stones needed for the task. Lin Moyu reached into the water and grabbed one of them. He lifted his hand, but the stone didn't budge. The difficulty of this mission wasn't high. The danger level of the ancient tomb was moderate, but as long as one didn't go too deep, there was almost no danger. Whether it was the speed or the will in the first two stages, they weren't likely to be life-threatening. As such, this mission was simply too easy. But how could the Imperial Human Network arrange such a simple task, and even give a reward of 5,000 points? If I'm not mistaken, the real difficulty of this mission lies here. Lin Moyu changed to another stone and pulled hard, but it still didn't budge. Clearly, although there were many stones here, not every one could be taken away. And looking around, there seemed to be no pattern to it. But could there really be no pattern? If that were the case, it would be completely based on luck. Trying them one by one until he found one that could be taken away. Lin Moyu didn't think so. What the Imperial Human Network wanted to test was the cultivator's courage, perseverance, and wisdom, not luck. Luck was certainly a part of it, but it wasn't part of the test. Lin Moyu withdrew his hand. Trying them one by one was clearly not appropriate. He stood by the pool and began to think. Soon, his eyes brightened, and he had a vague answer in his heart. Since this mission was issued, millions of people have completed it. But the number of stones here hasn't decreased. In that case, the stones don't come from the pool. His gaze searched around, and there were flowers and plants full of vitality everywhere. This was a garden, which should have been barren, but now it was full of flowers and plants. And at the roots of the flowers and plants, there were many stones piled up. These stones weren't stained with the aura of death, and were grayish-white, not the stones required for the mission. But there were traces of the stones having been moved. Lin Moyu had the skeleton divine general fetch one, and after pondering for a few seconds, he put the stone into the pool. After a few seconds, black lines appeared on the stone. Strands of the aura of death began to emerge from the stone. After a few more minutes, the stone turned completely black, and Lin Moyu took the stone out at this time. This is the item needed for the mission. Lin Moyu smiled slightly and put away the stone. His gaze turned to the darkness behind the garden. Next, I should go inside and take a look. The test in this mission isn't about force, but about wisdom and observation. To become a true powerhouse, wisdom and observation are indispensable. I'm suited for combat-oriented tasks, so I shouldn't have taken this mission. It was mainly the ancient tomb that attracted me. He instinctively felt that the ancient tomb and the mysterious manor were related, perhaps to some secrets of the ancient times. Back in the black hole, that mysterious person was clearly very interested in ancient things. Even things that such a being is interested in aroused Lin Moyu's curiosity. Chapter 1277. What exactly happened in ancient times? In the garden, Lin Moyu paused for a moment. The fountain was still dripping black spring water. The black spring water contained the law of death, and it was no different from the water of death. Each time it spouts, the law of death will appear, making this place the best holy land to comprehend the law of death. Perhaps the Bull Demon King happened to discover this, so he simply blocked the door, wanting to occupy this place and prevent other races from entering. Unfortunately, he encountered Lin Moyu and was completely killed. The water in the pool is all water of death, which is very valuable. Lin Moyu tried to take it away, but found that he couldn't. The water of death, like the stones in the pool, has become part of the pool. Lin Moyu was not disappointed, as this was not his goal originally. The task has been completed, and after confirming that there was nothing else in the garden, Lin Moyu walked towards the depths. Behind the garden, there was still a dark passage, the third passage. Passing through this passage leads to the depths of the tomb. According to the information, this passage has no tests or checkpoints. Some people reached the end and found nothing. Some people disappeared at the end of the passage. The passage was extremely dark, and Lin Moyu, who had just been shrouded in darkness, suddenly thought of something. He quickly returned, and after 2 or 3 steps, he left the passage and returned to the garden. The garden was as usual, the fountain in the pool was still dripping, spraying water intermittently, and the flowers and plants in the garden seemed to have become more delicate. However, a trace of vigilance increased between Lin Moyu's eyebrows. The corpses are gone. The corpses of the bull demon race were gone, without leaving a trace. The garden floor was clean and tidy, without blood stains, without minced meat, and anything that did not belong to the garden was gone, as if it had been carefully cleaned. Lin Moyu thought deeper and further. During the time when the bull demon race guarded the passage, not a few people must have died here. Even if those people's corpses were collected by the bull demon race, what about the blood stains and battle traces? There was nothing. This is very abnormal. With the bull demon race's slightly reckless personality, it was impossible to clean the battlefield so cleanly. Lin Moyu noticed the fountain in the pool. The water was dripping, but the frequency seemed to be a little faster than before. The change was very subtle. Lin Moyu's soul was extremely sensitive, but he still noticed it. He seemed to have guessed the reason why the fountain revived. From drying up to respraying, it was because it had accumulated enough power. His eyes suddenly lit up, and he suddenly understood many things. Why does the aura of death in the tomb contain the law of death? It's not that the law of death is eroding the ancient tomb, but that the ancient tomb is gradually adapting to the laws of the great world, absorbing the laws of the great world. If this is the case, then it is very likely that the fountain used to spout something other than the water of death. Lin Moyu reached into the pool, touched the stones in the pool that could not be grabbed, and the newly appeared water in the pool. Under careful perception, Lin Moyu finally discovered the difference between the two. The black stones in the pool are essentially different from the water of death. The stones contain the aura of death, but their aura of death is not the law of death, but closer to the law of immortality, containing vitality in the deepest part. The newly gushing water of death, this trace of vitality has disappeared, it is the true law of death. Although it's only a little bit different, the essence of the two is completely different, the stones are obviously at a higher level. Lin Moyu was thoughtful, what exactly happened in ancient times? The laws of that era seem to be different from the current laws. My profession, my law of immortality, seems to be somewhat similar to the laws of ancient times. Various thoughts flew in, like a huge mystery shrouding Lin Moyu. He had thought about this question before. His profession is very special, not only is it not in the small world, but also not in the big world. Other spells can always find many similar existences. But he is unique. After contacting the mysterious manor, he discovered a relatively close law, which made Lin Moyu feel heavy with doubts. He has an impulse to trace back to the source. Taking his attention back from the fountain, he got up again and stepped into the dark passage. Perhaps, at the end of the passage, he can find some clues. Lin Moyu believes that those god kings will not disappear for no reason, something must have happened. Perhaps there is danger, but this risk is worth taking. The dark passage was extremely quiet, except for his own footsteps, only the friction sound made by the skeletons walking. As he went deeper, the darkness quickly deepened and intensified. Lin Moyu threw out the undying flame, and as soon as the undying flame flew out, a mass of dark mist shrouded it, enveloping the undying flame. The grayish-white light could not penetrate the thick fog, nor could it illuminate the surroundings. Lin Moyu could only vaguely see a little bit of light in the thick fog, but before long, even the last bit of light disappeared. Lin Moyu then realized that he was already in the thick fog. It was too dark, and it was impossible to see whether there was thick fog at all. He switched to the undead vision, and there was nothing around. In the undead vision, although he still couldn't see things clearly, if there were creatures attacking him, then the undead vision could detect the other party's soul. After walking about 10,000 meters, the vision suddenly recovered, and he walked out of the fog area. In front of him stood a high wall. This is the end point mentioned in the information, the end of the passage. The high wall, like the main body of the tomb, uses the same material, an extremely strong material. Lin Moyu did not try to break the wall, he knew it was impossible to do so. The wall is 1,000 meters high, connecting the entire top. Lin Moyu himself and the skeleton god generals groped on the wall for a long time, but found nothing. If there were any mechanisms on the wall, they would have been discovered many years ago. There is no shortage of smart people in the world, it is impossible for everything to wait for me to discover. Lin Moyu took his attention back from the wall, he knew there would be nothing on the wall. Since there is nothing on the wall, how did those god kings disappear? His gaze turned to the dark world behind him, where thick fog was entwined, and nothing could be seen once inside. In the thick fog, one could also feel a strong aura of death, it seems that these thick fogs are composed of the purest death energy. If there is no problem with the wall, then the problem must be in the passage. The passage is 1,000 meters high, about 200 meters wide, and is a straight line without any bends. Since this is the case, then the problem is not at the top of the passage, but on both sides. Lin Moyu quickly analyzed the possibilities, his heart moved, and the skeleton god general had already responded. Lin Moyu summoned a full 10,000 skeleton god generals, divided into 3 groups. One group will head to the top of the passage, while 2 groups will search the sides. The skeleton god generals advanced densely, not overlooking any corner, conducting a carpet search in the darkness. Watching the skeleton god generals disappear into the darkness, Lin Moyu stood by the wall, waiting quietly and not in a hurry. Soon, a skeleton god general sent back information. On the left side of the passage, they found an entrance. The entrance was equally dark, leading to an unknown place. Lin Moyu's lips curled up, as expected, it's in the passage. He roughly knew the reason for the god king's disappearance, most likely, they had entered inside. Chapter 1278. An immense graveyard. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry, he waited quietly. Waiting for the skeletons to search the entire passage thoroughly. In the passage, a total of 8 entrances were discovered. The 8 entrances were hidden in the thick black fog, 4 on each side, opposing each other and very balanced. The god kings who disappeared here most likely entered them and never returned. There are quite a few smart people. Those god kings should all be very smart, at least smarter than ordinary people, and they also possessed an extremely strong curiosity. A normal person would leave when they reached the end of the passage and found nothing. But smart people wouldn't, they would ponder whether there might be other entrances in the dark passage. Then they would search, and upon searching, they would actually find one, enter it excitedly, and disappear from then on. Lin Moyu didn't know if he would disappear like those god kings. But no matter what, he had to go and see. Not for anything else, but the ancient secrets alone deeply attracted him. At the mysterious manor, he had seen someone summon the Great World Rune to fight against the manor's owner. The Great World Rune was now almost collapsing, and although it wasn't certain if it was the manor owner's doing, the manor owner had entered the coffin of slumber, and now the coffin of slumber was still in his hands. The information left by the manor owner, the power system displayed, seemed to have countless connections with him. Under the combination of various reasons, Lin Moyu, filled with curiosity, chose one of the entrances and stepped into it. Space twisted, and colorful colors appeared before his eyes. Lin Moyu felt like he had experienced a teleportation. After a moment, his feet stepped back onto the ground, the scenery before him quickly solidified, and the teleportation ended. A gray-white fireball hung in the sky, bringing a little light to the world. Under the illumination of the fireball, the entire world appeared gray-white. Many visible dust particles floated leisurely in the air, constantly rising and then slowly falling. It seemed as if a hand was constantly throwing the dust particles up, letting them dance in the air. A gentle breeze blew, colliding with the dust particles and producing light, weak sounds. The whole world exuded a faint sadness and desolation. An inexplicable feeling surged into Lin Moyu's heart, and he thought of a certain festival from his previous life. Every year in April, people would go to the mountains to commemorate their ancestors. It would often rain at that time, incense and candles would be lit on the mountain, and occasionally someone would cry sadly. Looking ahead, there was a forest. There was a path in the forest, winding into the distance, connecting to the distant mountains. With ABBC vigilance, Lin Moyu entered the forest along the path. The forest wasn't dense, sparse and scattered, just enough to block the line of sight. After walking about 100 meters, the forest came to an end, and what appeared before him were coffins. The coffins were arranged neatly, all the same size and shape, countless at a glance. For a time, the atmosphere of sadness became more intense, and the aura of death swept over him. The dust particles in the air danced more violently. This is a graveyard. Lin Moyu paused, his heart pounding slightly. He didn't sense any danger, but he just felt a little strange. Inside the ancient tomb, there was actually a graveyard. He recalled the structure of the ancient tomb. After entering the first passage, there was a circular hall. There were several rooms in the hall, each with coffins, and a large number of burial objects, indicating that the people buried inside were of extraordinary status and should be the tomb owner's relatives. Then there was the second passage, and after the passage was a garden with fountains. Building a garden in a tomb was already a very strange thing, and it was also something Lin Moyu couldn't understand. Then there was the third passage. There were 8 entrances in the third passage. After he randomly chose an entrance, he came here. Gradually, a clear structural diagram formed in his mind. Lin Moyu guessed that there should be more than one graveyard like the one in front of him. The 8 entrances each led to a graveyard. If he combined it with what he had seen in the mysterious manner before, a guess suddenly surged in Lin Moyu's heart. If the owner of the ancient tomb was a general, would the coffins in the graveyard be burying soldiers? The 8 graveyards were like camps, guarding the central mountains. Lin Moyu stood in front of the graveyard for a long time without stepping into it. The strands of aura revealed in the graveyard made Lin Moyu feel unusual. He knew that as long as he stepped into it, something unpredictable would inevitably happen. He looked into the distance, looking at the mountains in the distance, thoughtfully. If I'm not mistaken, that mountain forest is the real burial ground. Lin Moyu walked slowly along the periphery of the exclusive graveyard, his footsteps falling on the soft ground, stepping out footprints in the soil. While walking, Lin Moyu continued to watch the graveyard, observing the situation inside the graveyard. The graveyard was very quiet, looking like there was nothing but coffins, countless coffins neatly arranged. But Lin Moyu gradually saw some changes. Although the graveyard had no fences or high walls, the aura emanating from it formed an invisible barrier. With a line between them, the inner and outer worlds would be completely different. Lin Moyu could clearly feel the existence of the barrier and did not easily step into it. The shape of the barrier was not a straight line, but had an arc, shaped like a fan. This made Lin Moyu even more certain of his guess that there was more than one graveyard, and the graveyard in front of him was only one of them. The 8 doors in the third passage each led to 8 graveyards. The 8 graveyards guarded the high mountain in the middle in a fan shape. A map formed in his mind. This was an incredibly huge graveyard, with at least over 1 million coffins in the graveyard. Arriving at the edge of the gravel path, looking along the path towards the distant mountain, he could see the path leading directly to the high mountain. Lin Moyu didn't want to enter the graveyard, so he could go to the high mountain along the path. Just as he raised his foot to step out, Lin Moyu decisively retracted his foot. The gravel path was also filled with the same aura as the graveyard. These strands of aura connected the graveyard paths into one. Although the cemetery was divided into 8 sections, it was actually a single entity, where one move affects the whole. The small path seems to lead to the high mountain in the center, but entering the path is no different from entering the cemetery. With a thought, 3 skeleton god warriors appeared. When things are unclear, letting skeletons scout the way is the best choice. The sound of bones rubbing together broke the silence of the cemetery. One skeleton god warrior ran into the small path with the rattling sound, while another ran towards the cemetery on the side. The last skeleton god warrior was preparing to cross the gravel path and run towards the cemetery opposite the path. At this moment, Lin Moyu seemed to have discovered something. His pupils suddenly contracted. He saw a figure. Chapter 1279, Former God King, Cemetery Cleaner. In the cemetery opposite the gravel path, a figure suddenly appeared. Lin Moyu was sure that the other party had appeared suddenly. If they had been there before, they definitely wouldn't have escaped his notice. He had been paying attention to the situation in the cemetery, and no movement could escape his eyes. In the cemetery, which was mainly pale white, the appearance of a black figure was very conspicuous. At the same time as the figure appeared, Lin Moyu's heart trembled. He lost contact with the 3 skeleton god warriors. Lin Moyu was slightly shocked. Under any circumstances, his skeletons would not disconnect from him. No matter how far away, he could sense the existence of the other party. Even if they were sometimes in different spaces, unable to establish a connection and unable to command, he could still sense the existence of the skeletons. But at this moment, he completely lost contact with the skeletons. Dead? No, even if they were instantly killed, it wouldn't be like this. The easiest way to verify whether the skeletons were still alive was simple. Lin Moyu tried to summon new skeleton god warriors. The summoning failed, and the spot for the skeleton god warrior was not freed up. This meant that the 3 skeleton god warriors were still alive and had not died. That was a true loss of contact. Lin Moyu felt a sense of vigilance in his heart, and he realized that he could lose contact with his skeletons. He became extremely serious. If this is the case, if I encounter an enemy who can cause my skeletons to lose contact in the future, the combat power of my undead legion will be greatly reduced. The undead legion accounted for at least half of his strength, if he was targeted by the enemy. Lin Moyu thought deeply and far. As his strength grew stronger, he realized this more and more. The battle between strong men cannot be off by even a little bit. As long as there is a little carelessness, if a weakness is seized, the end may be death and the dissipation of one's power. It seems that, no matter what, I have to go in. With great curiosity about the secrets of the ancient times, Lin Moyu really wanted to go in and find out. But it was not a must. If there was real danger, he would give up decisively. But now, he had to go. He was uneasy if he didn't figure out the reason for the skeletons' loss of contact. Lin Moyu focused his attention on the figure that had just appeared. Just a moment ago, the number of figures had increased, and several more had appeared. Not only did figures appear in the cemetery opposite the gravel path, but black figures also appeared in the cemetery on his side. The black figures were somewhat illusory, only able to distinguish the human form, but unable to see the appearance clearly. They ignored Lin Moyu and only cared about doing their own things. Lin Moyu stared at them, and after a while, he saw what they were doing. They were cleaning the cemetery. Some people were wiping the coffins, while others were sweeping the ground in the cemetery. The cemetery had white floating dust, and fallen leaves from the nearby forest were also cleaned up. However, the floating dust continued, and the fallen leaves kept falling, making this cleaning endless. The black shadows did not talk to each other, each with a clear division of labor, looking very dull, but meticulous and serious in cleaning. The black shadows were phantoms, seemingly wearing uniform work clothes, but the internal forms were somewhat different, with great differences. Lin Moyu pondered for a moment, his heart skipped a beat, and he finally knew the identities of these cleaners. They were the missing god kings, and the god kings of various races had become cemetery cleaners here. Lin Moyu couldn't help but wonder if he would become like these people after becoming a cemetery cleaner. In an instant, he had the urge to turn around and leave, not even wanting the 3 skeleton god warriors trapped inside. But the next second, Lin Moyu still stopped. He couldn't just leave, whether for himself or for the skeletons, he had to enter the cemetery. And he had confidence in himself, he was not comparable to ordinary god kings. When desperate, he could unleash combat power comparable to a god emperor, not to the point of being unable to fight back. Taking a deep breath, Lin Moyu stepped into the cemetery on his side. He was 1 step away from the cemetery, and with 1 step, he seemed to enter another world. The mysterious aura in the cemetery spontaneously enveloped him, instantly wrapping him up. Lin Moyu turned his gaze and found that he was already in the cemetery. Not on the edge of the cemetery, but directly in the interior of the cemetery. The surroundings were densely packed with coffins, with small passages between the coffins for one person to pass through. The distant mountain still existed, and he could use the mountain to locate the direction he came from. But Lin Moyu did not act rashly, but stood still, motionless. Acting rashly without understanding the situation was not safe. The 3 skeleton god warriors who had lost contact before had now regained contact. With a thought, the 3 skeletons quickly approached Lin Moyu, and soon 3 skeletons appeared in sight. The 3 skeletons were not far from him. Whether they had entered the gravel path or wanted to go to the cemetery behind the path, they had not succeeded. The 3 of them were actually in the same cemetery. Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that whether it is the cemetery or the gravel path, it is actually a hole. The skeletons can move freely inside, but they completely lose contact with the outside world. This place is like an independent world. It was not like the relationship between a small world and a large world. Although the small world was independent, it still depended on the large world. The cemetery in front of him was like a real small world, with its own rules. Thinking of this, Lin Moyu tried to mobilize his power and found that the power of his physical body and the laws still existed. The power seemed to be intact, but Lin Moyu was not happy. The feeling here was exactly the same as the feeling he got from the mysterious manor. Although the laws still existed, their effect was greatly weakened, making them almost useless. 0. Perhaps the level of cultivation would also be restricted, but he was at the 7th rank of true god, weak enough, so he didn't feel it. The ability to fight across borders was his advantage at all times. Seeing the 3 skeletons in his sight, Lin Moyu did not let them come over. On the contrary, he released more skeletons, and thousands of skeletons ran in all directions. The skeletons kept sending back information. Although the information was all the same, Lin Moyu found something wrong. What the skeletons saw were all coffins, endless coffins. Occasionally, they would encounter black shadows, who turned a blind eye to the skeletons and continued to do their own things. Lin Moyu finally saw the true situation of these black shadows. The black figures were indeed god kings from various races, including demons, golden eagles, bull demons, humans, and more. Without exception, these god kings had lost their physical bodies, leaving only their souls. Their soul flames burned vigorously, and their souls remained intact, but they were dull and devoid of intelligence. They were surrounded by a mysterious force that controlled the black figures, driving them to perform cleaning tasks. Lin Moyu felt a sense of vigilance. As time passed, the skeletons ran farther and farther, and the range of their vision rapidly expanded. Suddenly, several skeletons came face to face. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. All the skeletons scattered in different directions, so how could they meet head-on? There was only one possibility: they had circled the entire cemetery. The cemetery had no boundaries, no gravel paths, and they couldn't find the way he had entered. The cemetery was large, but not that large. Lin Moyu realized that he was trapped inside. Chapter 1280. Gray Flames, Danger Descends. Lin Moyu tried many times, with the skeletons advancing from different angles and directions. But in the end, the skeletons would always meet, as if they had crossed a boundary, being instantly transported from the far left to the far right. This cemetery was like a game map. No matter which edge of the map you exited, you would appear on the opposite boundary. The god kings of the past must have been trapped inside in this way. There's no danger for now, the danger probably hasn't arrived yet. If there really is no danger, and god kings don't need to eat or drink, and their lifespans exceed 10,000 years, they wouldn't have become like this. Lin Moyu pondered, knowing that there must be danger in the cemetery, but it hadn't yet manifested. Those god kings who had entered this place had all perished, their souls trapped here, losing their minds and becoming slaves for eternity. The skeletons had explored the edges thoroughly, and knowing there was no result, they chose to give up. Then, the 073 skeletons came before the former god kings, and watching the god kings enveloped by the mysterious force, Lin Moyu ordered them to attack. The skeleton god warriors' axes chopped towards the black figures. This was a test. Lin Moyu wasn't looking for a reaction from the god king's soul, but rather from the mysterious force. The axe struck the mysterious force, causing it to distort slightly. The axe passed through the mysterious force and also through the soul it enveloped. Nothing happened. The mysterious force was intact, and the soul was equally unharmed. The skeleton god warrior's axe felt like it had struck air. No substance, or perhaps physical immunity. Lin Moyu thought of two possibilities. The next second, he summoned skeleton soul archers. If physical attacks didn't work, then soul attacks. The skeleton soul archers directly drew their bows and released soul arrows. The soul arrows carried the undead law, possessing considerable power. The soul arrow flashed past, and the next second it hit its target. Outside the mysterious force, a transparent, illusory arrow appeared, but the mysterious force remained intact. Lin Moyu frowned. The next second, more skeleton soul archers appeared, and attacks rained down. But it was useless. The mysterious force completely blocked the attacks, protecting the souls inside. No effect. Lin Moyu continued to try, using undead gaze, time curse, and the sword energy of the skeleton god generals. But no matter which attack he used, he couldn't do anything to this mysterious force. Even throughout the entire process, the mysterious force continued to control the god king's soul, cleaning the cemetery. Leaves blew into the cemetery with the breeze, randomly appearing at a certain spot and scattering. The floating dust in the sky was the same. As long as it entered the cemetery, it would randomly appear at a certain location, without any pattern. Lin Moyu gave up on studying the god king cleaners and instead began to study the coffins. The items in the cemetery were extremely monotonous. Besides the god king cleaners, there were only coffins. The pale white coffins were extremely sturdy. The skeletons took turns, using all sorts of methods, but they couldn't damage them. Even the skeleton king's sword couldn't leave a single mark on them. Lin Moyu deeply suspected that the material used to make the coffins was the same as the material used to make the graves. The two only differed in color, their essence was the same. Lin Moyu changed his approach. Since he couldn't destroy them, he tried to open them. But the coffins still couldn't be opened. The coffin lid seemed to be one piece with the coffin body. After trying all sorts of methods, Lin Moyu helplessly chose to give up. What exactly is the danger? Lin Moyu looked towards the distant mountains. He finally moved. After entering the cemetery, Lin Moyu himself hadn't moved. Now he finally walked towards the mountains, his speed increasing. The mountains gradually became larger in his vision, larger by a sliver, but it couldn't escape Lin Moyu's perception. This meant that his progress in the cemetery was indeed bringing him closer to the mountains. But suddenly, his vision blurred, and the mountains became further away again. As expected, Lin Moyu had long anticipated this in his heart. He had crossed the boundary of the cemetery and returned to the other edge. Lin Moyu turned around and took a few quick steps. His vision blurred again. He turned his head to look at the mountains and found that they had become closer. He repeatedly jumped back and forth at the border, jumping for a long time without finding a way out. It seems that danger can only descend. Perhaps the key to breaking the situation lies in resolving the danger. If you can make it through, you can leave the cemetery. If you can't make it through, you'll become a member of the cemetery, becoming a cleaner. A true god-level cleaner, the lowest ranked one in the cemetery. Lin Moyu laughed self-deprecatingly, but his eyes were extremely bright, a glow of confidence. He knew it would definitely be dangerous, but the degree of danger definitely had a limit. Otherwise, the ancient graveyard shouldn't have attracted god kings, but rather god sovereigns. God sovereign level cleaners sound more impressive than god kings. As he waited, time passed bit by bit. There was no concept of day here, time seemed to stand still and also pass quickly. After an unknown amount of time, the sky gradually darkened. When it was bright before, Lin Moyu didn't see any stars, and he didn't know where the light came from. But now, as the sky darkened, Lin Moyu saw a flame slowly rising from the location of the mountains. As the gray flame rose, the entire world was dyed gray. Gray flame. Lin Moyu thought of his undead flame, the two were extremely similar. When the gray flame rose to the top of the mountain, it suddenly stopped, remaining on the mountaintop and burning fiercely. In an instant, the mountain transformed into a torch, and the gray flames illuminated every cemetery. Lin Moyu's heart rose in vigilance. If there was danger, it was about to descend now. The gray flames became increasingly intense, and the entire world was left with only gray and white. The entire world was stripped of all colors except gray and white, and all other colors were expelled. Even the clothes Lin Moyu was wearing had become like this. The world had lost its color, and Lin Moyu only felt that his vision was greatly affected. Not only his eyesight, but also his soul's perception was suppressed, and his reaction speed began to slow down. In this world composed of gray and white, his power was weakened. A rubbing sound came to his ears. In the gray and white world, the coffins that Lin Moyu had tried his best but couldn't open suddenly opened. The coffin lid was slowly moved, from the inside. The object buried within the coffin was about to emerge. Lin Mo's vigilance instantly reached its peak, fully alert. Gray flames, scattering an indescribable mystical power, awakened the sleeper in the coffin. The tomb originated from ancient times, and the sleeper in the coffin had existed for countless years. This alone was enough to send shivers down one's spine. Lin Mo had already summoned the skeleton god generals, surrounding himself within their ranks. He was confident, but not arrogant. Faced with unknown dangers, Lin Mo never dared to be careless. The coffin lid was completely removed, crashing to the ground with a resounding boom. Immediately afterward, beams of gray light shot out from the coffin, interweaving in the air. The gray flames on the mountain also scattered countless sparks, colliding and intertwining in the air. Those floating white hairs were ignited by the flames, burning in the air, filling the cemetery with will-o'-the-wisps. One after another, gray figures shot out from the coffin.